Your shot's got to be a little bit harder.
When you use the best moves you have.
When you have to want it more than the other guy.
It's game time.
The schedule may say Game 5, but in reality, the Blackhawks are back in McNichols Arena for Game 1 of what is now a 3-game series with the Colorado Avalanche. 2 wins to go for one of these teams. The Hawks come in with momentum created by stirring performances in Games 3 and 4. Welcome to Blackhawks Game Time, everybody. I'm Jim Blaney. With the series knotted at 2 games apiece, it's now a best-of-3, and that means there's little chance for a letdown, and the pressure is mounting for both teams.
We're tied at 2, and we're going into their building, so both teams have pressure. It's a huge game. Obviously, we want to go up 3-2 going back into the United Center, and they want to get a stranglehold in this series too.
I think maybe the pressure is a little bit more on them. They're still the Stanley Cup champions, so until they get beat, they're still going to be that. So I think there might be a little bit more pressure on them now.
Maybe they feel pressure because they're the better team. We're obviously the underdogs, but for myself, I feel the pressure. You're playing for the Stanley Cup, and every game's so important. So you have to put pressure on yourself, but at the same time, you have to go out and play relaxed and compete and play hard.
That has been the approach Steve Dubinsky has taken since being called up in the middle of the series.
Basically, I didn't put any pressure on myself. I knew that I was going to go up, and they needed some players, and I just basically I've done the things that I was doing down in Indy. It's a little bit quicker up here, but I think I've been able to adjust my game, and I've been pretty successful.
The thing that he does so well, he's good on face-offs, and he's a great skater, and he competes hard. So I think anytime you have that, you're an NHL type player, and hopefully this is a great opportunity for him to show that he can play in the league, and hopefully for us he continue to play the way he has been.
He's taking all the key face-offs for us. He's winning all the draws, and he's skating, taking the body, and it's great to see. He's a great kid, and he's proven to us and to everybody else that he belongs in Chicago. Deep down, I hope that this is basically the chance that I have to take, and hopefully I've taken advantage of it and have proved to some people that maybe I can play on this team.
We'll have more on the stellar play of Steve Dubinsky a little bit later on in the show, but now it's time to welcome in our Game Time analyst, former Blackhawks goaltender Murray Bannerman. Murray, the Blackhawks are now the confident team. Do they have the edge going into Game 5?
One thing they do have, Jim, is confidence, like you say. Going into the series, you heard a lot of the Hawks talking about if we do this right, if we do that right, if we play a perfect game, we have a chance to beat this team. In reality, there probably wasn't a lot of them that really believed it with all their heart. Now that they've won a couple of games, and one of them, the 4th game in Chicago, being a convincing win, they have a lot of confidence. Now they know they can beat these guys. Colorado's play since Game 1 has gone downhill. The Hawks' performance has gone uphill. It's really difficult to turn things around like that when you start to fall away like the Avalanche have. So I'm looking forward to a real good game tonight, and I really think the Hawks got a great chance to win this.
One of the things we like to do here on this program and our other shows here on Sports Channel is talk about keys to the game. Make no mistake, the keys in Games 3 and 4 for the Blackhawks were heart and guts. We can't show you those on tape. So what were the tangible keys to the last 2 games played here in Chicago?
Well, there's been quite a few of them, and the first thing being the forwards back-checking and hard work, as you said. But the forwards back-checking, they haven't allowed Colorado to really get going through the neutral zone. This is a good example. The forwards coming back quickly, and Colorado's just barely gotten over their blue line. Shanson and Amonte have done a particularly good job at this. Good forechecking, but watch them come back also. Because they're coming back, he's first guy back in to pick up the puck. That's a forward. It allows the defense to stand up. The guy that has just amazed everybody, I think, except for probably himself, is Dubinsky. Again, they don't let Colorado get going through the neutral zone. They're turning around, back-checking hard. I feel a little bit sorry for this guy, but not that sorry for him. Chelios has been all over this guy and physical, bumped him every chance he's gotten. Forsberg's a -7 in the 2 games in Chicago, and a big reason is he's getting frustrated because every time he gets the puck or gets around the puck, he's got Chelios knocking him down. He's got somebody everybody else coming at him, taking him out of the play. Nothing has been easy for him. But Shelly here, just hound him, hound him, hound him. And that gets frustrating after a while. We talked about the Hawks being physical. You got to be smart about it and not get penalties. And everybody has been physical. Savard, Chelios, Probert's been physical. Black, Suter's even taken the body more than we've seen him. And it's been a big plus for them. Ozolin's a guy that doesn't really want to get hit too often. Here, Probert taking the body.
Too bad Claude got hit there.
Yeah, I'm sure that really bothers you. That was a big turning point in that game. Probert went in there, took the man, and scored the goal. And they've got some breaks at home. First game, Kaminsky missed an open net. There you see the puck lying there in the crease, and Kaminsky gets back and clears it away before Colorado. So the breaks have definitely started to come because they've worked harder and done things properly.
Here's the key number. Peter Forsberg, as Murray mentioned, -7 in the 2 games in Chicago. Same amount of shots, but he's been on the ice a lot of the time when the Blackhawks score, something that has to concern the Colorado Avalanche. So the underlying question now is, have the Blackhawks awoken a sleeping beast? Well, maybe not if you listen to what Scott Young had to say in the last couple of days. Young said we usually bounce back from bad outings. They've had some meetings. They thought they'd play better, but they didn't. Now there is cause for concern. Murray, that's lying in the weeds. This is a good hockey team. They can crank it up at any time. The Blackhawks have to play their best every moment of the game. They have to guard against the Avalanche getting it cranked up, something the Hawks didn't let this team do in games 3 and 4.
That's right. They have to play their best. It hasn't changed any. Just because they won a couple of games doesn't mean that it's going to get easier. In fact, as you win, when you're an underdog and you win, now you do start to put some pressure on yourself because you've won. You're in the series. You belong there. Now people think, hey, you got a chance to win. So they're not just going in with people saying, now these guys are going to get blown out. They've got a chance to win. They have to continue to play the same way.
Watch very carefully the first 5 minutes of this game. It's going to tell you a lot. Jeff Hackett has to be on. The Avalanche will come out flying. That may be the whole game in a nutshell, so keep an eye on that. Keep it here on Blackhawks Game Time. Later on, we'll take a closer look at the great play of some key Hawks role players who are stepping up big in this series. Plus, the Hawks were hoping to take their newfound confidence along with their luggage on this trip. We'll relive the incredible second period from Tuesday. And after this, well, it doesn't look like that in Denver today because it was snowing. But anyway, we'll hear from the guys in Denver coming up after this. Heroes in games 3 and 4 here in Chicago. And as we get ready for game 5, Pat Foley goes one-on-one with many of the guys that are getting the job done for the Blackhawks.
Our guest on the pregame show tonight, a Blackhawk defenseman who was outstanding during the regular season, has just been terrific in the first round of the playoffs so far, Eric Weinrich. Before game 1, Chris Chelios sat here and I asked him about the mood of the team in the locker room, and he said he hoped that you guys would be intense but able to relax a little bit. I think he had the sense that maybe guys were a little uptight at the start. As this series has gone along, obviously you guys must feel much more comfortable against the defending champions.
Well, I mean, every time you play against Colorado, you get a little nervous because, they're defending Stanley Cup champs and regular season champs, and, every line they throw out is a pretty effective line. And, I think maybe just from the last 2 games we gained a little confidence and proved to ourselves that we can play with them. And, I think, the mood has changed from being a little nervous now to, not confident, but at least we know we can play with them.
Lots of attention in the postseason and during the regular season, too, about this in-the-crease rule. If Eric Weinrich had a chance to voice his opinion about what should happen going into next year, what's your opinion on that whole rule, goal or no goal?
Well, I think if a guy's in the crease and he interferes with the goalie, then, definitely I think it should be called off. But there's so many instances where a guy has 1 foot in the crease and the play's on the other side of the net and he's not involved in the play that it's starting to get a little bit ridiculous. And Tony Amonte scored a goal the other night where the goalie wasn't even near the net and he pulled the puck into the crease and had an open net. I think they're going to have to make a fine line where they call it a goal or change it, because now it seems like every goal is being reviewed.
And this from a guy who's more interested in preventing goals than he is in trying to score them himself. So Eric, we certainly anticipate a great game tonight as you get ready for game 5, really one of the most critical games of this series. What do you sense from your locker room?
Well, I think, after playing 2 games like we did the other night, everyone's got to be excited, because we haven't won here in the playoffs this year, and I think everyone wants to prove to each other that we can win here, and we got to start winning on the road if we're going to go anywhere in this playoffs year. So what a better place to start than here, and especially against this team.
Appreciate the chat. Best of luck to you.
Thanks, Pat.
Eric Weinrich on our pregame show tonight. Now here's Dale with the head coach.
Well, Craig, I think you've got to be extremely pleased. I think after games 1 and 2, you probably would be happy to be in this situation, and here you are in game 5.
Well, especially the first game, we came in here and didn't play very well, and they embarrassed us. And after the injuries in game 2, we've really done a real good job of regrouping and getting ourselves focused to play a real simple defensive game. And I think we saw in the second game in Chicago that we started to frustrate them.
Line combinations are terrific, I think, and they've got to be really pleased with the way the people at center have reacted, missing Sutter and Craven, Dubinsky and Miller and Savard and Jeff Shantz playing his best hockey.
Well, we know that the center icemen, they have Forsberg, Sakic especially, that people really have to step up, and this is playoff time. Everybody has to be at their best and even better than their best, and I think the 4 guys have done an excellent job, but tonight is a different night and we've got to be ready to go.
Jeff Shantz did a wonderful job against Forsberg. Right off the opening faceoff, he hounded him and drove him crazy, and you had that last matchup, last change. Is that the type of matchup you'd like in this building?
Well, it is a little bit tougher on the road because they have last change, but we have to be alert on our changes and make some changes when we can. And key to that is the center iceman winning some faceoffs so that we have control of the puck to get it deep so we can change.
That's one thing I think you've really improved on in the 4 games. Your faceoffs have been tremendous compared to what you did in the regular season.
Well, Steve Dubinsky he's done a real good job for us. He's come up and he's played well, but he's taken a lot of key faceoffs, especially in our end late in hockey games.
You challenged them a lot in the neutral zone, forced a lot of odd man rushes in the last game. Is that the way you challenge them again?
Yeah, and that really, it starts on our forecheck. If we don't get caught getting trapped with 2 guys beat by 1 pass, then we're in good shape. But it's they're such a transition team that you can't get caught.
First period's probably going to be very important. I imagine they're going to come out pretty hot. Is that what you tell your troops?
Well, we haven't had very good starts in this building, so we really got to be ready and start to play our game and see if we can and frustrate them early.
Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, let's go back to our studios.
All right, Dale, thank you very much. The Blackhawks wore their red jerseys during games 1 and 2 in this series. They'll be wearing black tonight. Murray, does that have anything to do with the superstitious and suspicious nature of hockey players?
You know what? If it helps one guy feel better about their chances of winning, I say wear them. If there's anybody that has any doubts about those red jerseys, go with the black because they've been successful with them.
Win this game tonight. We may see black the rest of the way. Still more to come as they prepare to drop the puck in Colorado. We'll talk more about Steve Dubinsky and how wonderful he's played since being up with the big club. Keep it right here. You're watching Blackhawks Game Time. Contestants tonight in the Southwest Airlines Partner Player Contest. First up, Stan Brown from Quincy. He has selected Eric Daze. If Eric Daze scores, Stan wins. If Tony Amani scores, Michelle Busher of Chicago will win. The winners, or winner, will get round-trip tickets to any of Southwest Airlines destinations. Compliments of Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. Time now to head on back to Denver and bring in our NHL insider, Brian Hamley of the Chicago Sun-Times. Brian, we saw Adam Deadmarsh taken off the ice at the end of Game 4. What's his status?
Adam Deadmarsh will play tonight. They listed him as doubtful yesterday, probably just a little bit, keep the Hawks guessing a little bit as to what his actual status was. We're looking at the hit. We'll show you the hit here. Eric Weinrich and Adam Deadmarsh, mid-ice hit, knee to knee. Mark Crawford was irate after the game. He was screaming at some of the NHL league officials saying not only should have been a penalty, it should have been a major penalty. He had hoped the league would have probably suspended Eric Weinrich for tonight's game. That did not happen. The league said there will be no punishment or further comment on that play. And I'm sure Mark Crawford's just trying to plant a seed a little bit. You know, last week the Hawks were the ones complaining about the officiating, and for whatever reason, Bob Probert had 7 penalties in the first game. He has not had a penalty in the last 2 games, so maybe Mark Crawford playing a little mind game of his own, trying to get some of the officials thinking that maybe they're not getting a fair shake on the officiating.
Brian, let's shift our focus for a moment to the series going on between Phoenix and Anaheim. Usually rumbles in the desert happen in Vegas, but from what I understand, things are getting a little bit ugly out there.
Former Hawk Jeremy Roenick apparently has a bullseye on his back, as does Keith Tkachuk. Anaheim coach Ron Wilson fed up with the way Paul Kariya's been treated by the Coyotes, and he said, we're coming after Roenick and Tkachuk.
All right, Brian, thank you for your time. And, of course, you can get all the latest NHL news and notes in Brian's NHL Insider every day in the Chicago Sun-Times. It's hard to single out any particular player on the Hawks as the guy during the last two games, but let's phrase it this way, Murray. Steve Dubinsky has just been up with the big club in the last 4 days. He has played excellent hockey. Has he been the most important player for the Blackhawks in the last 2 games?
Well, he has certainly done a lot for them. His face-offs have been a big, big key. And I believe the reason that he's so good at face-offs is Dubinsky's one of those guys who's got real good eye-hand coordination. I don't know if you remember, there was a couple of times in Game 3 where he actually knocked the puck down out of the air with his stick, just the blade of his stick. Once Colorado was trying to clear it, and once it was a Hawk shot. So he knocked the puck down. And that kind of eye-hand coordination serves you real well on the face-offs. The other thing that he's been doing is he's been playing a very physical game. His skating is such that he's got the speed to keep up with guys, so he's getting to the guys and able to make the good hits on them. And maybe most importantly, what he's brought is those young legs and the energy of being young and in your first Stanley Cup playoffs. You don't know any better, perhaps, is the best way to put it. He's just out there doing what he's always done, and he's done a great job.
His next goal will give him more goals than jersey numbers, but no matter what number he's wearing in the playoffs here, he's done a great job for the Blackhawks. Another guy who has played very, very well, and it started with about 20 games left in the season, Bob Probert. He was a force in Game 4 especially.
A big force. His physical presence has been what it's been all about. His size and strength to go to the net for rebounds, deflections, passes across the crease, that type of thing. It's hard to stop him from doing that because he's such a big guy. And in looking back, the antics of Game 1 where he took all those penalties and was really kind of off the wall, that was probably a benefit, because if you look the last couple of games...
That's what I said at the time. No one believed me.
The last couple of games, it appears like Colorado doesn't want to go by him. They want to give him all the room in the world. It reminds me of Al back in the 80s, Al Secord. Nobody wanted to go by the guy because they're afraid of getting beat up. And that's what's happened. He's getting an awful lot of room out there, and he's making the most of it.
Patrick Waugh, one of the marquee goalies of the NHL, and rightfully so, was getting all the attention in this series. People have overlooked Jeff Hackett. I would have to assume that's just fine with him.
I'm sure Jeff doesn't mind that. I mean, he lets his play speak for itself. And here's a guy, let's be honest, Jeff got off to a little bit of a shaky start in this series. He wasn't real sharp at times, and he didn't have a lot of help from his teammates. I believe the turnaround in Jeff Hackett came in Game 3 in the overtime in particular. I believe he outplayed Patrick Waugh in that stretch of time. And in Game 4, his confidence was so high. And I look back to the save he made in the second period on Lemieux. It was a glove save. Lemieux's coming down the wing. I mean, that was such a clean save. That glove just came up, bingo. It's in the glove, and bang, it was right there. He was real sharp the whole game.
Pat and Dale are standing by in Colorado. After this timeout, we'll hear from them, and we'll also go back to a period Blackhawk fans won't soon forget. A look back at the unbelievable display the Hawks put on Tuesday night in period number 2. Still available for Game 6 at the United Center on Saturday night. A special note for that game, Blackhawks are encouraging all fans to come to the game and wear your favorite Blackhawks jersey. It's a tough choice. Do you wear the red, do you wear the black, do you wear the white? You have 2 days to make the decision. Get your tickets by calling 312-559-1212. We are moving toward face-off in Game 5 of the series. Now it's time to head out to Denver, where Pat Foley and Dale Talon dug their way into McNichols Arena, and now they're ready to go for Game 5.
Well, fellas, the Blackhawks get ready for Game 5 tonight in Denver, and it's going to set up a scenario where one team could be eliminated on Saturday night for Game 6, which happens in the United Center. And Sports Channel and the Blackhawks have given us some great news about that game.
Well, the great news is they're going to televise it, so it's good to televise a home game. Best angles and best coverage, and obviously the team plays its best at home of late anyway, so I'm all excited, and Pat and I are going to have the best angles, the best camera angles, and the best ability to do a great game. Hopefully the Blackhawks will win Game 5 and have a chance to clinch on Game 6, so it's exciting.
Well, the Blackhawks and the Colorado Avalanche get ready for this 5th game, and we'll come back to bring it to you in just a couple minutes' time, gentlemen.
All right, so not only do we have the game tonight, but we will have it for you on Saturday as well. Hockey is a game of heart, guts, and learning that 20 people pulling together in the same direction can accomplish incredible things. 6 days ago, the columnists in Denver were calling the Blackhawks the Chicken Hawks and predicting the Avalanche would win this best-of-7 series in 3 games. Now the Blackhawks are within 2 wins of an upset of Namathian proportions.
Down 2 goals, I think we'll be in big trouble, but we came out and Proby got that tying goal.
Probert on the far side, center, Daze shoots, and a save rebound, Probert, he scores! Bob Probert made the hit to set up the home play, and then Probert finished it, and the Hawks have tied the game at 2. Amani battling there, dug it out, here's Morrow and drive, he scores! Ethan Morrow got the goal after Tony Amani did the dirty work.
I think everybody played well. We played our systems great. We just had a lot of jump and enthusiasm out there, and you know, the result was we were pretty successful.
Now Sakic the other way, over the line to Lemieux, shoots, hacked it! Sutter shoots, stopped and scores!
It was just a lot of hard work, and we were getting the breaks, so it was a nice, a great period for us, and hopefully a great momentum swing for this whole series.
From the United Center, we'll have a special hour-long edition of Game Time at 6:30. The puck will drop at 7:30. The only thing we have to figure out is whether it will be for the Blackhawks with a chance to win the series or maybe for the Avalanche. We will determine that tonight in Game 5. Time now for a look at tonight's puck priorities, brought to you by Priority Mail. First of all, on the agenda for the Blackhawks is door number 5. Who will be the star of game number 5? A lot of guys have played well. It seems like one guy is always moving into the prominent role.
Yes, but it's been different guys. You had Krivo and you had Daze in Game 3, and you had Probert and Amonte in Game 4. So it hasn't been 1 or 2 guys. It's been multiple guys that have come through for them.
Item number 2, Ice Bird, meaning Ice Peter Forsberg. Shut him down. He's been -7 in the last 2 games of the series. The Blackhawks, and I guess in particular Chris Chelios, need to keep that going. And the final item, puck control. And no joke about this one, as we usually do on these. This one's dead serious. The Blackhawks can't turn it over and can't give up a lot of power play chances.
No, they can't. Colorado still has a potent power play, but that has been a major difference between the games in Colorado and the games in Chicago. Colorado turned the puck over here, Chicago didn't. Conversely, Chicago turned the puck over in Colorado, and Colorado didn't, so they have to not turn it over.
Game 5 coming up. Blackhawks and Avalanche. Pat and Dale take control after this.
What a difference a couple of games makes. Just 6 short days ago, the Avalanche were atop the world in defense of their Stanley Cup, up 2 games to none and in dominant fashion over the underdogs from Chicago. Today, the Blackhawks, one of the league's best road teams, are back in Denver and looking to kick a team when they're down. The Hawks have scored 10 goals in 2 games. And tonight, look to hand the Avs their first 3-game losing streak in over a year. It's now a best of 3, and it all begins right here, right now.
The opening round series of the Stanley Cup playoffs between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Colorado Avalanche has boiled down to a best 2 games out of 3 sequence. Tonight, Game 5 in Denver, snowy Denver. Welcome into McNichols Arena. Pat Foley and Dale Talon. The Blackhawks know they're going to have to win on the road sometime if they're going to advance. Why not now when they have momentum?
They've got momentum, and I think the first period is key. If they have a good first period, they're challenging the neutral zone and just crowd them and outman them and outfight them and outwork them as they did in Games 3 and 4. They've got an opportunity because if Colorado Colorado comes out and explodes and gets a couple early, it's got to be tough on the confidence. But if they can frustrate the Colorado Avalanche in the first period, get a goal, tie them up, and get through the first period scoreless or even tied, they'd be in great shape, because I think this team's showing the effects of the pressure that they have to defend the cup.
Well, the Chicago Blackhawks were feeling pressure in Game 3. Their playoff hopes were hanging in the balance, and Sergei Krasov doesn't score a lot in the postseason, but he picks pretty good times.
Well, he did it last year, scored the winner in a big game, and in the second overtime, he steals the puck, comes in, makes a great move, great composure, and puts it upstairs. A brilliant goal, a beautiful goal, only his second ever goal in playoff competition, both of them in overtime and winners, and he has played very, very well. Everybody's contributed. It's been a team, solid team effort. Everybody's been saying Colorado's a better team, but right now the Hawks are playing better.
Well, no doubt the Blackhawks started this series trying to be physical, feeling they could get an edge on Colorado in that department. They got carried away in Game 1, but as this series has gone along, it's paid some dividends. And the other night in Game 4, Bob Probert with a big hit leading to a key goal.
Well, sometimes that first game, maybe they sent a message, and maybe the message has been accepted by Colorado. But Bob Probert with the body, the rebound shot went to the net, and that really inspired the Blackhawks. That tied it up, and they went on from there and scored a bunch of goals in the second period and went on and could have won that game 10-2. They had numerous breakaways, tons of odd man breaks. They just outworked them. They won every battle along the boards and in behind the net. More, I should say here, Amante, smaller player than Gusarov, outworked him. Would not be denied. He was held off. He just made the play, and then Ethan Morrow let it rip, and he beat Patrick Waugh, and that's the type of effort the Blackhawks gave in Games 3 and 4, and especially in Game 4.
And some of the big guns for the Colorado team have been held in check, and the big part of that is the Chicago captain, Chris Chelios. He's come in for some pretty high praise from the Avalanche coach.
Mark Crawford said he's been unbelievable. He's raised his status, his level of play, and that's hard to do, and he's just worked Forsberg over every time. The Forsberg or Sakic have been on the ice. He's just worked them and worked them, give him every opportunity to go to the bench with lumps and bruises. It's been amazing. The stamina and the amazing work, that ethic that Chris Chelios has shown in Games 3 and 4, just brilliant to watch.
It's really gone right up and down the entire lineup. We've seen every man on the roster the last couple of games has really chipped in some form.
Well, Dennis Savard has played marvelously. Dubinsky called up from the minors. He's been a big plus for them with speed, his hitting, and also in the face-off category. He's won a lot of big face-offs for them.
So the Chicago Blackhawks and the Colorado Avalanche get ready for Game 5. We're ready for it as well. We'll be back to drop the puck in just a moment on the Blackhawk Network.
Game 5, Murray, very quickly. How important are the first 5 minutes?
The first 5 minutes are going to be extremely important. The first 2 games in Colorado, they allowed the Avalanche to get the lead, and it was real tough to come back. In Chicago, they didn't allow that to happen, so they were in the game, and they could play the style that they wanted to play. They don't have to open it up.
All right, here we go. Game 5, Blackhawks and Avalanche. Let's go to McNichols Arena in Denver. Pat Foley and Dale Talon, as always, have the call.
At 5,280 feet above sea level, McNichols Sports Arena in Denver. This will be the 89th consecutive sellout they've had here. It is hardly the best facility, but the Avalanche love to play in this rink.
Well, Jeff Hackett's got a lot of confidence with 2 straight wins and 4 playoff appearances. He's got a goals against of 3.43. He was outstanding in overtime and getting his first ever victory, and he was very confident. Wow, it's 2-2. 2 goals against. Save percentage of .925.
And here we go as the draw is controlled by the Avs, and John Clem bounced one into the Chicago zone. Chelios chasing it down. Threw it up the left side. Black able to bang it to center. Cummins rolling it into the Colorado end. And now Cummins and Dubinsky lay a couple of hits on Clem, but the Avs come out with it. Here's Ozolinsh in over the Hawk line. His shot didn't get through, fluttered into the air, and Hackett will glove it and hold it. The officials tonight are led by the referee, who is Kerry Frazier. The linesmen are Kevin Collins and Brian Murphy.
Matt, it comes down to, I think, whoever plays the best in this first period might win the series. That's how important this first period was. We thought the second period was important in Game 4, but I think this is the period. The Hawks were able to get through this first period in good shape, ahead or tied or even down a goal, and frustrate this Colorado team somewhat. And the deeper they get into the game and the lower the score is, the closer the game is, it'll be interesting to see how Colorado reacts.
They are talking as if they don't really feel the heat, Colorado, but a lot of people think that means they are. And in each of the first 2 games here in this series in Denver, the Blackhawks fell behind early by a couple of goals and really had a terrible uphill struggle from that point on in those games. And as Dale said, boy, you get through this first period in good shape. Now, all of a sudden, the home team and the heavily favored defending champions, they got to start wondering what's going on.
No, they are wondering. They know they're in a battle. They know they can't out-hit this team. They know they can't out-physical them. And Sakic right on. We better be worried. We let them back in it, and they have the momentum. This is very disappointing. Anything can happen now in a best out of 3.
Face-off will be to the left to Hackett. Here's the draw. Taken by Eric Weinrich. Put it around the boards. Amani tipped it out to center. Morrow got covered there. Then got a big hit from Keane. But the play continues as the Hawks dump it in. Adam Foote ahead for Keane, who leaves it, and Yell clears it into the Chicago zone. Weinrich backed. Cleared it to the near side. Oh, he sidestepped the hit. Keane took a run at him and got nothing but boards as Weinrich saw him coming and made a neat maneuver to avoid what would have been a big hit.
You know, he'll be the target, especially early in the game, for what he did to Deadmarsh.
Now it's cleared into the Chicago zone. And Keane goes down, but the play continues as Amani on right wing got to center before he was stopped. Colorado's Ricci circles at center ice. Now scoops it into the Chicago zone. To the near corner it goes. Lemieux and Chelios come together in the corner. And then Carney into jam at 3. He got a jolt as he cleared it back the other way. Gusarov has it in his own end. Gave it to Foote on the near side. He managed to work his way to center and bounce one in, but he's well short of center. It's going to be icing against Colorado.
I'll tell you one thing, Pat, they've had an effect on this Colorado team. Colorado just dumping it in. They're not trying to carry it in or get fancy because they turned it over so often. In the last game, they got caught up ice numerous times, and that's exactly what the Hawks like to see. This team dumping the puck and giving up possession. And the Hawks can slow them up somewhat and win the battles in the corner like they have the last couple of games. They've got Colorado playing their game.
That's another thing Joe Sakic was talking about after Game 4. He said all our fancy, pretty little plays, we're playing right into their hands the way we've been operating here in Chicago. And he not surprised at all to see them try to dump it in a lot here early.
Well, that's a game they're not unaccustomed to playing. They very seldom have to do it.
Face off to the left to Waugh. The Hawks get the draw. Weinrich far point, a long shot, tipped, deflected wide. Came to the near side. Clem managed to clear it to center ice. Dennis Savard dropped it into his own zone. Weinrich threw it to the left wing boards. Probert. Savard breaking, but the pass was deflected, and the Avs able to dump it in. Deadmarsh on the far side, colliding with Weinrich. And behind the goal it goes. Now Weinrich, a rough ride to the corner, but he held onto the puck, and now a man goes down. Sakic, and it's going to be a Hawk penalty. And Colorado get the first power play of Game 5.
Well, Gary Suter's going in because of the interference play on Sakic, slowing up somewhat. .234 the time. Sakic with a smart play. He was hooked to somewhat. Made it appear actually worse than it was, and a hooking call on Suter. So a big kill here for the Blackhawks as Colorado gets the power play, and the Colorado power play got off to a roaring start in Game 1, but the Hawks have shut them down.
They're now 4 out of 27 in the series.
They were 3 for 12 in the first game.
Now here's the draw in the Hog zone. Held into Oselins, a long shot. He just missed the far post. Rebound to the side of the goal, and Hackett able to corral it and cover it.
So they're 1 for their last 15 with a man advantage.
Sandis Oselins found a big difference in his results from Denver to Chicago.
Face-off win for Colorado. That's one thing the Hawks have done really well in this series is the face-off department. The shot just missed, and then it was hacked to the side of the net, and Hackett was there to cover up.
Now Lemieux off the draw on the far side, leaves it there, and Kaminsky takes a look to the side of the net. Forsberg. Wait in front. They score. Lemieux. Claude Lemieux just outside the goal crease. Got a great feed from Peter Forsberg and tapped it home. Colorado on the power play has the game's first goal.
61st career playoff goal for Lemieux. Right in front of the net, and a feed right on the money from Forsberg. And into the net before Hackett could blink. Kaminsky into Forsberg. Forsberg to Lemieux, and Lemieux all alone in front. No one there to tie him up. Both hockey defensemen on the right side of the ice. Chelios goes down, leaves him after Carney had gone up high, and Lemieux all alone. You can't leave him there that long in front of the net unmolested.
4 goals already in the series for Claude Lemieux, who already has one Conn Smythe playoff MVP trophy to his credit. And he's off to a roaring start in this postseason. 4 goals for him in the series. We're just underway in Game 5. Lemieux from Forsberg and Kaminsky at 2:53 on the Colorado power play. Here's the draw. Taken by Young. He clears it into the Chicago zone. Russell put it to the right side. It's held in. A long shot. Gloved by Hackett. And he held on with Lacroix lurking. It's early in Game 5 in Denver. The Avs have a 1-0 lead on the Blackhawk Network.
61 playoff goals. That was his 5th goal in 11 games against the Blackhawks, and 4 of them have come this year with Claude Lemieux.
Now the draw in the Hawk zone. Dennis Savard able to flip it back into the Avalanche end. Aaron Miller is back. Both teams trying to make some quick changes on the goals. Lemieux now fires a long one. Hackett kicks it over to the far side. And it's knocked away from Ricci to center. Picked up there by Carney to Amati. Couldn't get it into the offensive zone. Now Keith Carney put it to the right side. Morrow rolled it ahead. A little too far for Chance. And a foot for the Avalanche. Cleared it out to center ice. Amati able to knock it loose. And it's finally corralled by Chelios deep in his own end. Gave it to Kevin Miller on the right side. He bounced it to center ice. Mike Ricci got knocked down by Krivokrasov, but gets help from Adam Foote now. And Yell rolled it out to center. Came to the near side, and Foote, who sends it into the Blackhawk zone. Chelios up the near board to Krivokrasov. He was unable to pick it up. Now he does to center. And the Hawks able to clear it into the Colorado zone. John Clem back of his own net. Starts it to the far side. Now got it back from Ozolinsh, and Clem carries it all the way to the Hawk line with a long wrist shot and a stick save by Hackett. Rebound Denmark starboard. Rolled it loose, but Savard steals. Dennis Savard works his way to the Colorado line to the deep slot. Savard around to check. Now shoots. And a save by Waugh. First chance of the game for the Hawks. Took 5 minutes for him to get. And back of the Colorado goal it goes, where Waugh put it around the boards. Ozolinsh overskates it, but now it rolled to Waugh. He's going to get a whistle.
Well, great maneuverability once again by Savard. He was so quick. You don't know which way he's going to go, side to side. And he makes some nice moves through the neutral zone, gets the line, and then a good quick shot. While drifting to his right, shot back to his left. And that almost snuck by Patrick Waugh, low to the stick side. 174 career points in 167 games. Looking for that one more goal to tie Bobby Hull on the all-time playoff goal list as far as the Blackhawks are concerned in his career. Savard has scored 66 goals.
Face-off will be to the left of Waugh. As Forsberg and Dubinsky get ready. Dubinsky won the draw to Chelios at the far point. His long clip shot didn't get through. Rolling loose, and the Avs able to clear it. Back to the far side. Black trying to hold it in. Got turned around, though, and it winds up at center. Here's Amati. Clearing it to Chelios, who flipped it ahead over the stick of Morrow, who chased it down, then shoots, and he shot it wide. Rebound to the far corner. Lefebvre colliding with Amati, and Morrow went down behind the Colorado net, and Yell comes out with it. Stefan Yell dumping one in. Took a funny hop to Chelios, but then he couldn't get it out. Ricci along the boards. Wrestling with the Blackhawk captain. Puck squirts loose to Morrow. And he bangs it back to the Colorado line. 1-0 Avalanche with 7 minutes gone here in the opening period. As the puck rolling around in the neutral area. Finally picked up by Colorado's Gusarov. Clears it to center. Nearly picked out of midair by Krivo, but Forsberg got to it. Over the line to Kaminsky, far side, trying to move in on Weinrich. He does, and then lost it as he moved right toward the doorstep. Hackett swept it away. Held in by Lemieux. To Forsberg, far corner. He's checked there by Kevin Miller, but Forsberg hangs on to it. Spins along the boards, and finally had it stripped away by Dowden, who cleared it out of the Hawk zone. Now Forsberg motoring back over the Hawk line. That bumped along the far side. As they battle along the boards for it. Gusarov trying to keep it in. Could not, and the offside whistle sounds. We have 13 minutes remaining in the opening period. It's 1-0 Avalanche on the Blackhawk Playoff Network.
Valerie Kaminsky, a great individual player, one-on-one. Weinrich not quite sure which way to go. He slips it around him, goes in deep, comes to the front of the net on the forehand, but Jeff Hackett beats him to the punch. Kaminsky goes flying. The Hawks are able to clear. And it's a good chance for Colorado. One of their rare scoring chances they've had at even strength. They do have the one power play goal, though. And it's 1-0 Colorado as a result.
Now the Avalanche zone. Corbet fires it back the other way. Going to be icing here against the Avalanche.
Well, Colorado's keeping it very simple. Nothing fancy in this game so far. Hawks have had 2 shots on goal. Colorado's at 5. Blackhawks with their black jerseys wore their red ones the first 2 games.
The regular season game they won here, did they not wear the black jerseys in that? I think they did. And this draw will be to the left of Patrick Waugh. As the Avalanche clearly with a much more conservative style here in the opening part of this game. Having been victimized in their minds, trying to do too many fancy things in games 3 and 4 in Chicago. A lot of dump it in, dump it out so far tonight for Colorado. Here comes Lemieux. Gets to the Hawk line with a long shot. Hackett the save. Rebound taken by Probert on the near side. Tied up by Aaron Miller, who jammed it free, but Savard at the slot managed to steal that one. Got it to Daze. And he bounced one to the Colorado line. Now the Avs put it back into Chicago territory. Chelios. Long bank pass picked off by Forsberg at center. He rolled it to Kaminsky, who fires a knuckling shot into the Hawk zone. Aimed to the near side, and Probert. Bob Probert out to center ice. Carries it into the Colorado zone, and Cummins had been pushed in there offside. So the whistle sounds.
It would have been a penalty last season. Denmark was a doubtful starter. He skated. There's a thigh bruise. 23 goals or 33 goals and 60 points in the regular season. Their team leader. Hawks have shut him down though after that first game. Denmark had a 3-point game in the first game.
And that's what he's got now. 3 assists so far in the series. Off just outside the Colorado zone as the draw is taken by Weinrich. He sends it in there. Adam Foote. Now moved Moves it to the far side. Gusarov ahead for Keane at center. He chipped it ahead, but Ciccone able to get to that one and bounce it to the neutral area. Mike Keane unable to advance it. Enrico Ciccone will throw it into the Avalanche zone, and Gusarov's on it. Put it to the near board. Morrow able to keep it in there. Ethan Morrow jammed it into the near corner. Chance against Foote there. Then Morrow poked it free, but Adam Foote recovered it beautifully for Colorado. Cleared it to Ricci, but he couldn't get it out. And then on following up, Adam Foote able to bang it to center ice. Ricci had his pass deflect, but it's carried by Yell over the line left for Keane, who shoots. He scores! Mike Keane with a puck on edge. Shot it from the top of the near circle. Off the far post and in. Mike Keane has owned the Hawks here in this building. His third goal in 3 games in Denver. And it's 2-0 Colorado.
You better be ready for Keane. He really surprises a lot of people. They primarily think of him as a defensive forward. He's got a cannon for a shot. And Hackett surprised by it. Though it looks like he slid a little too far to his left. Yale dropped it to him. And Keane beats him to the stick side. He gave him too much room. They can't give him goals like that. It's 2-0 Colorado. He surprises a lot of people with his quick release, and he's got a lot of velocity in that shot. Third goal of this series, all 3 of them in this game.
So much attention given to Patrick Roy, rightfully so, and that big trade was made with Montreal, but boy, do they love having that guy on their team, Mike Keane. Here come the F3-on-2 now. Sakic in over the line to the deep slot, then shoots. What a save by Hackett. Rebound to the far side. Weinrich came out of there with it, rolled it to Suter on the near board. Cleared it up the middle to Probert, whose pass is deflected, then Probert got it back. It's going to be a Colorado penalty. And as the Avs get possession, the whistle sounds, and the Blackhawks in desperate need of a conversion with their first power play chance of the game here.
Finally scored 1 power play goal of 5 chances in their last game. And they'll need to get one here, trailing 2-0 this first period. The first half of the first period in the 3 straight games in this building have been disastrous. So Sakic for tripping at 9:42, and the Hawks look to get within 1 here on the power play. Gary Suter trying to pull away from him, and Suter helped his cause, returning the favor. It was the opposite situation earlier when Sakic took a bit of a dive when hooked by Suter, forcing a power play and a power play goal. So hopefully the Hawks can return the favor.
1 for 17 in the series for Chicago on the power play. Here comes Chelios. Put it to the far side. Shan hammers it in there. Amandi on the near board. Couldn't pick it up. Suter did. Got it to Amandi along the board. Now to the side of the goal, Daze. Leaves it in the near corner then for Chance. Jeff Chance center. Daze put it back to Chelios. Here it comes. Wow, saw it all the way. They gloved it. Juggled for a moment, but held it.
Only the second tough save of the game for Waugh. Toughest save was on Savard earlier in the period. That time Daze man pressured him and a drop pass to Chelios, who let it go, and Waugh moving to his right and had to lunge back to his left with the glove. He saw it all the way though, and juggled momentarily and held on to force this draw.
Vucevic to his left. We're halfway through the first period now. 2-0 in favor of the Avalanche. Here's the draw. Loose behind the goal. Daze got to it. Out to the near point for Suter. Gary Suter for Daze. He couldn't find the bouncing puck, and it's chopped away to center. Now here comes Amandi up the left side and threw it into the far corner. Gusarov back and out of midair. Took a hack at it. Failed to get it out. At the line, held it by Chelios. To Suter near point. Up the boards for Amandi. Back to Suter at the line. Feeding Chelios. He got tied up but managed to keep it in nicely. To Chance along the boards. Deep slot to Suter. His long wrist shot. He just missed the far post. Now it's held in by Chance. Yes, Chance to the line. It's Amandi now to the deep slot. Chelios fires. And a save by Waugh. What a screen provided by Probert. And Patrick Waugh's best save of the game right there.
Well, great big battle in front. Two big heavyweights going at it. Probert and Foot doing battle, and Waugh somehow saw it. Probert and Foot, well, tough to do. What a battle going on there. Then he leaves Probert, and Probert screens him, and Waugh looked it right into the glove. Great concentration.
Sorry, partner, just half minute left now on the Blackhawk power play. The face-off to the left of Waugh. And the Avs get the draw. Lefebvre. Wrapped up along the boards. Kevin Miller in there. Probert doing well to tie up his man, allowing the Hawks to get possession. Here's Chelios at the line. Near point for Weinrich. Back to Chelios with a long drive. And a save by Waugh. Again, Probert doing his job in front of the net. And somehow Patrick Waugh's been able to locate the last two shots.
Well, good job by the Hawks, just distracting Waugh, but Waugh's concentration unbelievable. Twice, good puck movement at the line by Weinrich and Chelios. Back to Chelios. Chelios then gets it through. And Probert missed it, but still distracted Waugh, but Waugh was able to look it right into the glove once again.
Face off to the left of Waugh. As Savard and Yell get ready. And the draw to the Avs. Lefebvre clearing. Here comes Chelios. Quickly back to center to Weinrich, who dumps it in, but that takes care of the Hawk power play. Both teams now are at full strength. Evan Miller in the Colorado zone tried to feed Chelios, but he had vacated. And the Avs come out with it. John Clem dumping one in. On the far side, Dubinsky unable to get it out. Along the boards, Kaminsky's pass is deflected to Black. James Black cleared it to the neutral zone. Jim Cummins shot it in, but Dubinsky had been trapped in there offside, and a little conversation between Lemieux and Carney, which doesn't amount to anything at the moment. And with 7.5 remaining in the opening period, Colorado owns a 2-0 lead on the Black.
Greg Stadler has been away for a while. He's been on tour and having a great start to this campaign, but he loves the Colorado Avalanche. He's in the front row. The Walrus. Good fan of the Avalanche and a big fan of Bernie Nichols, good friend. A little snow here in Denver, not much golf today.
Now here's Steve Dubinsky clearing it ahead. Black chasing it down to the side of the goal. Centered one, and it was deflected behind Cummins. To the far point now, Carney cleared it to Black along the boards. For Dubinsky, the corner. Ozolin's checked in there. Black dug it loose. James Black with a long wrist shot, missing the target. Coming to the near side. Suter pinching in there to the corner for Cummins. Ozolin's battling with him. Jim Cummins now leaves it for Dubinsky, whose pass didn't get through. It bounced to Waugh, and he will settle things down in the Colorado zone.
Alert play by Waugh. He saw his team in trouble. Good pressure applied by the Blackhawks. Best pressure of the game. Dubinsky, Cummins, and Black doing the work, doing a nice job cycling in both corners. Black put it across the goal mouth, and it just missed completing the pass. Ozolinch, I think, got a stick on it. Otherwise, would have been a dangerous opportunity for Cummins. James Black, who scored the lone goal in the first period in Game 2. Hawks have been outscored 8-1 in this first period in this building so far, including 2 tonight. With 7 minutes and 4 seconds to go.
Here's the draw to Weinrich, moving around a check, cut to the side of the goal, tried to center. It's broken up by a sprawling Stefan Yell. Now they battle away along the boards, and Morrow picked it up, and he got bumped by Yell, and puck is cleared back the other way. And it's going to be ruled icing against Colorado. Close call, but the Hawks get the call.
It's the right call. Puck crosses the line. Doesn't have to go all the way to the boards. You don't get extra points. That red line, if it crosses it by an inch, it's still icing. And too many times in the regular season, they wave that off. Tony Amonte's been on fire the last couple of games. 3 goals and an assist.
He's out there with Chance and Morrow. Here's the draw, controlled by the Avs. To the near side, held in by Chance. A long wrist shot deflecting up high. Back of the goal it goes, and Gusarov gave it to Ricci on left wing. Bouncing one into the Blackhawks zone. Ciccone had a problem with it. Keane steals, cuts in, centered. Yell kicked it toward the goal, but that hit somebody on the way. And the Hawks clear it back the other way, and this one will be icing against Chicago.
Keane having a great series, especially in this building. He's been terrific, and he's a free agent after this season. 2 teams interested in his services. Quality guy. He's a leader on and out the ice. Good defensively. He's got tremendous toughness for his size. And also can chip in some big goals.
Was he not? He was the guy who was a free agent when he first came into the NHL, and basically the only reason he ever got a look was because he played youth hockey with the Serge Savard's kid in Winnipeg, didn't he?
I think it was Fergie's kid.
A lot of people had overlooked him, and he got a chance because of the grit he showed as a youngster, and developed into a wonderful NHL player. Here comes Daze to center, looking for Savard, who forced a turn with it. Then Lemieux knocked him off the puck. Stolen to Forsberg, over the line, cuts in there. Forsberg a shot, and a save by Hackett. Rebound to Probert, and Probert managed to bounce it into the center ice area. Aaron Miller for the Avs dumps it back in.
Great save there by Hackett on Forsberg.
Now Bob Probert at his feet hit a skate. Deflecting to Scott Young over the line. Fires! He beat Hackett, but just missed the far post with a rocket. Into the corner it goes. Sakic dug it out. Centered one. It didn't get through. Came to Sakic on the near side. Moves into the deep slot. Sakic shooting. He just missed the near post with that. He's hoping for a tip from Yell, or I should say Corbet, but didn't get it. Now it's center ice Young. Rolled it ahead. Corbet over the line. And to wing it around the board. Sakic near corner. He's bothered by Suter. And Riva Krasov came away with it. And we're going to have a penalty behind the play. Looks like the Blackhawks will be caught with a penalized player. It's 2-0 Colorado on the Blackhawk playoff net.
Well, a brutal call, holding the stick in Amonte in the neutral zone, a ticky-tack penalty. The Hawks in a critical kill. They've got to kill it off. They trail 2-0. Colorado's second power play of the game. They have scored 1 power play goal already.
Hawks get possession off the draw, and Weinrich clears it. Joe Sakic moved it up the middle. Ricci, a touch pass for Jones over the line. Jones unable to give it back to him. Into the near corner it goes. And all 3 Colorado forwards in there after it. And just as it squirted loose, the whistle went off and the play is stopped.
Hawks got a break there. Weinrich had broken his stick and attempted to freeze it. It squirted loose, and a quick whistle helps the Hawks. Tune in to AM 1000 weekdays from 2 to 6. Steve Cochran helps you with your drive home on your sports and entertainment station, AM 1000.
Don't forget, on Saturday night, the scene shifts back to Chicago for Game 6. For somebody, it will be an elimination game. At least elimination potential. And we'll have that game with an MVP pregame at 7 o'clock. And Sports Channel will have live coverage of the game with their pregame beginning at 6:30. We'll drop the puck at 7:30 for the Hawks and the Avs in Game 6. Here's a shot from Kaminsky, and it's made by Hackett. Kaminsky back in the goal, put it in front. Ozolinsh, and a
Blackhawks are really struggling in this sequence. And collapsed completely. All 4 Hawk players were within 3 feet of the crease. And somebody better pay attention to Ozolinsh. He made the pass in front. Kaminski tried to shove it over. Hackett made the save, got it behind the net. Waited, and then Ozolinsh again. All 4 Hawk players were within 10 feet of each other. It was a real small collapsed box.
Now the draw to the Avs. Sakic near side to Ozolinsh. Fires, and a good save by Hackett with a left pad. And he holds on. Sanders Ozolinsh was lighting it up here in Denver in games 1 and 2, but was not the same player in games 3 and 4 in Chicago. Check that out. 4 points in the first 2 games at home and a +3. He did not have a point in the 2 games on the road, was a -5.
Gave up the winning goal in overtime in game 3. Turned it over in the neutral zone and enabled Krivo-Krasov to score the winner.
The draw, Chelios able to backhand at the length of the ice. And a minute remains now in the Colorado power play. Just under 4 minutes left in the first. 2-0 in favor of the defending champions. Kaminski on the right side gets deep into the Hog zone with it and rings it around the boards, and it eludes Sakic back into the neutral area. Ozolinsh cleared it ahead. Forsberg put it to Lemieux, far circle. Works his way deep in behind the net. Claude Lemieux leaves it for Forsberg. Forsberg in the near corner against Weinrich. Now Sakic came out center. When they score, what a pass from Joe Sakic, and Kaminski all alone at the far post. Has a tough chance, a bullet pass, but Kaminski finished as Joe Sakic makes another marvelous feed. 3-0 Avalanche.
And nobody in front again. Lemieux's goal, no one was in front. Weinrich is working hard in the corner. Somebody's got to take his point in front. No one in front. No one anticipating, no one looking. Suter looking at the puck, never looked over his shoulder. Kaminski was there. The puck hits by Suter, and Kaminski buries it. What a pass by Sakic. The 2 power play goals, and both goals are right in front of the net. And no one near Lemieux, no one near Kaminski. 2 power play goals and 2 chances.
That's 7 goals in 11 playoff games against the Hawks for Valeri Kaminski. He's got 12 career postseason goals and 7 against Chicago. Kaminski from Sakic and Forsberg at 16:49. And Colorado with 2 power play goals on their way to a big 3-0 lead. And just what the Hawks were hoping to avoid has hit them right in the face.
Well, you knew Colorado was going to come out flying, and they have not disappointed. The Hawks have been unable to slow them up as they did in games 3 and 4. And this first period has been devastating in this building. 9 goals against, only 1 for in the 3 first periods here at McNichols Arena.
The draw to Clem, who dumps it in. Ciccone unable to get it out. Into the far corner. Dedmarsh tried to center as he was dumped, and Hackett picked it off and held it. I said Dedmarsh, that was Lacroix, rather. Eric Lacroix really did not get much chance to play. It didn't seem in Chicago, but he's been an effective role player for this team.
There's a lot of pressure on this young guy. You know, his father's the general manager, and if got to earn his position on this team. He just can't go out there and not give it his all. Got to play harder than anybody else on the team.
Face off to the right of Jeff Hackett. And the draw is taken by Suter behind the net. He tries the long pass to center that deflects and came back to Suter. Got rubbed off by Dedmarsh. Then Ciccone carried on over the line to Kevin Miller. Centered one. Krivo trying to pass it to himself around Lefebvre. Lefebvre broke up the play. And it's cleared back to center. Dowling bumped by Jones on the far side. And it's cleared back into the Chicago zone. Ed Marsh steals one in the corner. Center one. Young, a shot. Back at the glove save. And decides to play it to Suter with 2 minutes left in the first period. And Colorado leading 3-0. Hawks dump one in there. Over to the far side. Ricci. Cleared it back around to the near side. Held in. No, it hopped away from Weinrich. Out to the center ice area. Aramati managed to pick it up now deep into his own end. Got it to Chelios. And a lead pass deflecting, and Weinrich then able to recover it, clearing it out to center ice. Gusarov got it to Keane over the line. Mike Keane spins on the far side. Centered one. Oh, Yell had a step on his check but couldn't pick up the pass. And the Hawks look to clear, but Adam Foote holds it in. Looking to center. That's picked off. Weinrich triggers ahead to Amati. He carries it over the Colorado line. Morrow busting toward the net. Amati then left it for Savard, who shoots it. Didn't get through. And it's picked up by Gusarov as we're into the final minute of the opening period. Mike Keane clearing it into the Hawk zone. Corbet bumped by Probert, then Sakic dug it loose. Joe Sakic had it knocked off his stick, and Kearney then couldn't get it out. Lefebvre long shot, didn't get through. Keith Kearney, who blocked it and cleared it ahead. Daze stripped it away from Lefebvre. In over the line, trying to center and hit a skate. Savard with a shot, and a save by Waugh. Dennis Savard trailing the rush, got the puck bounced right to him, and from close range, Waugh stoned him with a glove move.
Hawks are going to get a break here, Pat. Dennis Savard drilled Corbet, but they're going to call a penalty on Corbet. This is an evener upper for the Amante holding the stick penalty, which resulted in the second power play goal. Daze, brief step on his check, tries to make a pass on the backhand, hits a skate. It goes to Savard. Savard lets it go, and Bob Probert 3 times in this period has been right in front of Patrick Waugh, and all 3 times Patrick Waugh has made a glove save to his left and to the left of Bob Probert. Looks like the penalty's called on Deadmarsh, and the Hawks get a break there. That looked like it might go the other way. 24.9 seconds left in the period. The Hawks will get their second power play.
Savard will be out there with Probert and Daze in front of Suter and Chelios. With just half a minute remaining in the opening period.
That shot by Savard, Pat, only the 6th shot on goal. Dominant first period once again by Colorado.
Now Yell and Savard to the left of Waugh. Here's the draw to Gusarov. He clears it the length of the ice. And there'll be time for just one quick rush before this period comes to an end. Chelios motors quickly down to 10 seconds as Chelios banked it out of the reach of Suter. Waugh poked it to Keane. He clears it. That'll take care of the first period. Well, it was very simple in terms of the approach of Colorado. They went right back to basics, and it paid off for them.
Without a doubt, they really dumped it in, dumped it out, played it simply, didn't get fancy, outworked the Blackhawks and outplayed them in the first period.
The scoring started on a Colorado power play early on after Suter was given a penalty. Lemieux on the power play goal from Forsberg and Kaminsky at 2:53. Then Mike Keane shot what looked to be a knuckling drive from the top of the near circle with a puck on edge. And Keane fired one off the far post and in, assisted by Yell and Ricci at 9:14. And then the Avs got their second power play chance of the period and made good again. A great pass pass from Sakic to Kaminsky, who finished. Kaminsky from Sakic at Forsberg at 16:49. 14 shots on goal for Colorado, 6 shots for Chicago. 20 minutes complete in Game 5. The series is tied 2-2, but the Hawks in dire straits so far here in the 5th game, trailing at the end of one period, 3-0 on the Hawk Network.
At the end of one period of play, the Blackhawks trailing the Avalanche 3-0 in Game 5 of this Western Conference quarterfinal series. Jim Blaney along with Murray Bannerman. You just can't put these guys on the power play. It's that simple.
No, their power play is strong. And, you know, in all the pregame talk, we forgot to mention something, Jim. Colorado's home record, 26-9-5. No matter what they do anywhere else, when they're in their own building, they're a good team. Hawks let them get on the power play, and they put the puck in the net.
Well, why is that? The rink is the same size all over the NHL. Why is there an advantage at home? I just find it hard to believe that it's all those intangible things of, you know, you eat your own food, you sleep in your own bed, all that kind of thing. But why does it make a difference the rink is the same size?
In this particular series with the Hawks against the Colorado team, a big part of it, I believe, is the line change situation. Forsberg's got 2 points tonight. In Chicago, he was non-existent because when he was out there, Chelios was on him. Hartsburg was able to get the matchup he wanted against him. Here, he's not able to do that all the time.
3-0 at the end of one period of play. It is time now for our Gillette Instant Replay.
Nearly picked out of midair by Krivo, but Forsberg got to it. Over the line to Kaminsky, far side, trying to move in on Weinrich. He does, and then lost it as he moved right toward the doorstep. Hackett swept it away.
Valery Kaminsky, a great individual player, one-on-one. Weinrich not quite sure which way to go. He slips it around him, goes in deep, comes to the front of the net on the forehand, but Jeff Hackett.
When we come back after this timeout, we'll check the scores of the other playoff games going on tonight. In Denver, the Avalanche lead the Hawks 3-0. And the finals for tonight's Discover Card Payback Playback.
2 apiece. Now here's Savard. He races over the line, left it for Larmer. Back to Savard, moves right in. He scores! Savard on a give and go with Larmer. 3-2 Blackhawks.
What a beautiful goal. The fake slap shot, the drop between the legs. It's showtime. The pass back from Larmer, and look how he put his left leg out to get his body between the Oiler defenseman and the puck, and then he slipped it through Fuhr's legs. What a play by Savard.
And Pat and Dale sounded so much younger then, didn't they? They should. It was 12 years ago. That's hard to believe. Other playoff action tonight, the New Jersey Devils are trying to polish off the Montreal Canadiens. Game 4 of their Eastern Conference quarterfinal series going on at the Keg in Montreal tonight. Devils jumped out to a quick lead on Jose Theodore, who is playing in net tonight for the Montreal Canadiens. Scott Niedermayer, you know, he's a sneaky little, puts it in. Off the rebound, 1-0. Jersey had the lead. Still in the first, the Devils strike again. Patrick Elias gathers in the bouncing puck and scores. Devils led it at that point, 2-0. Montreal has come back on a goal by Mark Recchi to make it 2-1. They're getting ready to go to the third period in that game. The other game coming up later on tonight, Game 5 between Phoenix and Anaheim. The winner of that game will take a 3-2 series lead, and Brian Hanley told us on the pregame that the Ducks are going to try and rough up Keith Tkachuk and Jeremy Roenick. Good luck roughing up those two guys. They're pretty tough customers. End of one period of play. Avalanche leading the Hawks 3-0. We're back with first period highlights after this. And it's per game leaders. St. Louis and Detroit are leading the parade based on the occurrence after Game 4 in their game, late in Game 4 at least. And the Blackhawks right up there as well. Colorado 7th in the 16-team hierarchy of the playoff teams in penalty minutes per game. Time now for a look at the first period highlights. All Colorado in the opening period of play because the Blackhawks gave the Avalanche 2 power play opportunities. The first one comes here. Joe Sakic goes down. Gary Suter goes to the box. And then here comes the goal, Murray.
And here it is. Colorado has good puck movement. They're good passers. You see Chelios go to the behind the net. That forward's got to rotate down a little quicker. When the defense is jumping behind the net, the forward has to come back to help out.
A couple of unsung guys who've had great series. Stefan Yell drops it back to Mike Keane. 2-0 in favor of the Avalanche. And Murray, this pass by Joe Sakic is simply spectacular.
It's a great pass. Not only is it right on his stick, it's hard, which allowed it to get by Suter. Didn't give Suter a chance or the goaltender a chance to react to the pass. So Joe Sakic is one of the better passers in the game, and you can't give him time to find an open man.
3-0 at the end of one period of play in favor of the Avalanche. After this timeout, we'll look ahead to the second period coming up. 3-0, Murray. What will the Hawks change in the second period?
Well, what they need to do is get their power play going as they're starting the period on a power play. A power play goal right off the bat would put them back in the game. They also have to eliminate their penalties because Colorado's power play is clicking tonight, and you can't give them any chances.
We will see you at the end of the second period of play. 3-0 Avalanche as we get ready to go to stanza number 2.
Colorado with a 3-0 lead. 2 power play goals in the period. Don't forget, Saturday night, the Blackhawks will host the Avalanche in Game 6. Coverage begins at 6:30. That'll be on Sports Channel, and then the puck drop at 7:30. Chelios with 11 minutes and 14 seconds of ice time with 11 shifts, 3 shots on goal. And the Blackhawks have dug themselves into another hole here. 3 periods in this building, 3 first periods. And all 3 of them they've trailed 4-0, 2-1, and 3-0.
Try to find a silver lining somewhere. You have said on more than one occasion that a 3-goal lead in hockey might be the worst lead to have. Why is that?
Well, as I said many times, at 3-goal, you figure the game's over, so you relax a little bit. Then you get a penalty or something, you score a goal, make it 3-1, and then you try to turn it back on again, and you just can't seem to do it. But when you're up by 2 or 1, you keep pumping, you keep thinking the game's in jeopardy, and you don't shut it off a little bit. Once you shut it off, it's hard to turn it back on.
Blackhawks open up with power play hockey here for a minute and a half. Remember that late penalty to Denmarsh near the end of the first period. So Shantz, Amati, and Probert will be in front of Chelios and Weinrich, with Jeff Hackett down to our left here for period 2 and Patrick Waugh to our right. Colorado with a 3-0 lead, and the draw is taken by the Avs. They clear. Chelios gave it to Shantz up the near side. Got to the line, nearly got away from Gusarov, but the puck eluded and went to Waugh, who covered it just long enough to get a whistle.
He made the nice move. Shantz had him beat, but did the puck squirted off his stick. He gets Gusarov playing the puck, not the body, and missed both. Hawks can score here on this power play to start the second period, get some momentum. Same type of situation. Colorado scored an early power play goal and built off that. 3 points, +4. Really did a marvelous job in Game 4 against Forsberg. He shut him down.
Face off to the left to Waugh. Shantz got the draw to Weinrich deep slot near point. Chelios up the board to Amati. Centered it. Chance to drive. He just shot it outside the near post. Down into the corner. Amati tried to center. That's deflected. And winds up back in the neutral area. Able to slide it ahead to Amati. His pass is broken up. Hawks will have to chase back for it. 40 seconds remaining on the Blackhawk power play. Chelios for Weinrich. He's got the line far side center to Amati. Shooting it deflects harmlessly to Waugh. Rolled slowly and he covered it up.
A weak shot deflected, and Waugh was able to hold on to it, and then got a snow shower from Shantz again. Second time, and Shantz got a small cross check in the back from Forsberg. Jersey's ahead of Montreal 2-1, trying to finish off that series 4 straight. Just Shantz stops, and then Forsberg gives him a shot.
Face off to the right of Waugh. Suter, and touch pass to Savard along the boards. Moving into the corner with it. Now back to the line. Suter with a long one-timer. Didn't get through. Back of the goal, Kevin Miller. Had it knocked away. Mike Keane gathers it in. Sweeping into center and foot. Put it to Yell over the line. And Suter managed to tie him up. Now Chelios takes over. Chelios carries to center, put it to Suter. He had it stripped away at the line. The Avs are going to counter 3-on-1 as they counter with a man out of the box. Denmark. He got it in front of a shot. A save by Hackett on Forsberg. And the rebound cleared to center with Suter. His pass is broken up once more. And it's picked up by Forsberg. And over the Hawk line, far side on Suter. He shoots. And the shot blocked. Deflecting to the near side. Lefebvre. Able to hold it in, but only for a second as Weinrich cleared it to center for Black. Gave it to Cummins in over the line. Centered to Black. He's well covered. Couldn't make a play, and Lefebvre starts back for Colorado. Sliding it back behind the Chicago net. Now Cummins for Weinrich, who feeds to center, and Black put it over the line. Dubinsky far side. Shoots from a tough angle, hit the side of the net. In deep to Black. James Black along the end boards. Tied up then by Aaron Miller. Puck came free to Sakic, and he bounced one to the center ice area. Ethan Morrow had his feed broken up. Bouncing around to the Hawk line, and Sakic was in there ahead of the play, and the whistle sounds. Joe Sakic spent many years with a terrible team in Quebec, was out of the playoffs for many seasons, but what a marvelous run they had, and he had in the postseason last year on the way to the Stanley Cup. This is his 39th playoff game. He has 26 goals and 26 assists, 52 points, and he's not finished with his 39th game yet. And he got 7 goals in the first 10 games in postseason play against Chicago. Here's Chelios deep in his own end. Gave it to Ciccone, whose long feed deflects to the Colorado line. Ricci flipped it ahead, but a two-line pass is ruled against the whole team. It's early in the second period. It's still Colorado. Chicago Blackhawk playoff network.
Patrick Waugh looking for his 89th career playoff victory, which would make him the #1 all-time in wins in playoff history. He's tied with Billy Smith.
Now the draw cleared into the Hawk zone on the far side. Ciccone able to flip it to the Colorado line. Foot's pass is a bad one. Deflects to Chelios, deep slot. His long shot missed the target. Rebound to the far side, and Foot bounce one back into Chicago territory. Chelios bounce one into the Avalanche zone. Foot looking to clear, but Chance held it in. Far corner to Amati. Gets help from Morrow. Ethan Morrow rolled it back to the Colorado goal, but the Avs are there. And Sakic cleared it to center ice. Scott Young carries it over the Hawk line. Top of the near circle. Long wrist shot. Hackett the stick save. Rebound Chelios. And he cleared it back the other way. Wow, looking to play it himself. Got it to Lacroix, who cleared it to center. Here comes Young. In over the line. Young tees it up. Fires. Boy, he had a couple players moving right up the slot. Seemed to not notice them, and his shot harmlessly went into the seats.
I can tell you, he has to have good starts to each game, or he gets in the doghouse. Because I don't think he's one of Crawford's favorites. Had some big goals last year. Got good speed, got a good shot from the right side. Forsberg, who was held off the score sheet except for one assists in the last 2 games and -7. Has a pair of assists in this one.
Face-off will be to the right of Jeff Hackett. Early here in the second period, Colorado owns a 3-goal lead. And the draw is controlled by the Hawks, and Krivo gave it away. Here's a breakaway for the Avs, and Kaminsky tried to pull it to the backhand, but shot it wide. Now, Weinrich for Kevin Miller. In over the line. Lost the handle, and Miller carries on. Shoot! And a save by Waugh. Rebound. Going to be a penalty as Miller was knocked down. And the Blackhawks get a power play here against Colorado.
A big move by Hackett at the other end, forcing Kaminsky to go wide after a turnover by Krivo-Krasov. And then this play looked like it could be outside. Krivo-Krasov cuts in front of Miller. Quick shot, low to the stick side. Good toe save, and then the rebound attempt, and Clem takes down Miller. And the Blackhawks will get a power play. Their third power play of the game. They're 0 for 3, or 0 for 2, I should say, and 1 for 19 in the series. 4:47, the time of the infraction. Krasov making that blind pass, picked up by the dangerous Kaminsky. Kaminsky with a goal already in this game and an assist.
Well, now it's Savard with Amani and Probert in front of Chelios and Suter. Face-off will be to the right of Waugh. Here's the draw to the far point, and Gary Suter. Up the boards to Savard. He moves to the corner. Savard now tied up by foot, but got it back to line, and Suter was not quite able to keep it in. Hawks will regroup back at center ice. Oh, pass doesn't connect, and it'll be cleared all the way back behind Hackett. Here comes Chelios now. Leading Suter for Amani in over the line. Amani put it to the far side. Probert for Suter, right up the slot. Stick handle, shoots, and a save by Waugh. Rebound! Waugh the save! And he stopped the second and third shot as well. Out of the far point. Held in by Suter to Chelios. Deep slot, Suter with a long blast. It didn't get through. And it's cleared to the near side. Chelios able to hold it in. Chris Chelios had it knocked away finally by Keane. Back to the center ice area. Now a minute is left on the Blackhawk power play. Here's Probert with the bouncing puck over the line. Taken down along the boards. Foot steals and clears. Here's Suter. Gave it to Chance. Rolled it ahead. Aaron Miller got to it though and fires it out to center ice. Chelios dumping one in. Chance far corner, and it taken away by Aaron Miller. And this young defenseman's had a strong series. He clears it.
I'm really impressed with the way he's played. Started the season in a forward position in the first game against the Hawks. Got a goal.
Now Daze over the line. He got knocked off the puck, but Chance carries on, moves in behind the net. Over to the far side, Miller, a wrist shot deflected wide. Aimed to the near side. Taken by Chance to the line, and Carney stepped away from it. Check now, centered one. Oh, and it just was deflected away from Miller. And now the Colorado penalty over. Both teams are at full strength. Back of the Hawk net, Jeff Hackett cleared it, not out. Foot a long shot, missed the target though, and now the near side, Cummins couldn't clear it. A drive from Jones, sailed up high. Black able to gather it in. Bounce one to the neutral zone. Now Black able to recover it. Feeds ahead for Dubinsky over the line to right side for Cummins, and he shot one well wide with the puck rolling on him. James Black along the far board. Gets help from Ciccone with a long shot. Wow, the save. Rebound foot. Got a high stick. Going to be a penalty. Now as the Hawks control the whistle sound. And Steve Dubinsky is going to beat Kerry Frazier to the penalty box. So Colorado will head to the power play, looking to add to a 3-0 lead of the Blackhawk Playoff Network.
Steve Dubinsky goes to the penalty box for high sticking. 7:37. The time of the penalty, the Hawks failed to capitalize on their third power play. Lemieux makes Waugh makes a good save, and then on the rebound, Foote tries to pick it up, and his high stick by Dubinsky. And Colorado's 2 for 2 with the man advantage.
As Ozolinsh carries the mail to center, hammers it in there. Goes to the far side. Forsberg in the corner with it. Bumps one behind the goal, then a center pass. Ozolinsh, a shot, good save by Hackett. Rebound to the near side. Ozolinsh tried to center it, deflects to Carney in the near corner. He had it stripped away by Lemieux, and now a penalty coming up against the Avalanche.
Carney was hooked somewhat, went down quickly, and there's a clearing attempt. And Kaminsky goes to the box without any argument, and that nullifies the Colorado power play. That's one way of stopping them. Carney gloved it to the stick, and his attempt to clear it was hooked by Kaminsky. And that at 8:09.
So 4 skaters aside now. Face-off coming outside the Chicago line. Dennis Savard and Peter Forsberg get ready for the draw. And here it is to the Avs. Ozolinsh. He circles with it at center ice. Now gave it to Forsberg on the left side. He's got the line, weaving to the deep slot. Trying to backhand one toward the net. That didn't get through. And the Hawks clear it back to the Colorado blue line. Here's a lead for Forsberg into the Hawk zone. Fakes, peels off to the far side. Then a wrist shot from there, and a blocker save by Hackett. Lefebvre held it in centering, just out of the reach of Lemieux, and he didn't seem to have a Hawk very close to him. So the puck eluded him and went to Hackett, who held on.
4-on-4 opens up the ice, so you better be careful. And you better make wise decisions. Savard very nearly picked off the pass, but he missed it. And there was a rush up the ice for Forsberg and Lemieux. And now Sakic and Ricci come out. Hawks stay with the same foursome. Savard, Daze, Suter, and Weinrich. Lefebvre and Ozolinsh, all 4 changes for Colorado.
Face off to the right of the Blackhawk net. 3-0 Avalanche. We are almost halfway through the second period. Here's the draw. To the deep slot, Lefebvre. His long wrist shot sailing wide. Rebound to the far board, and Weinrich managed to get it to Savard, but he got spun around, and back comes Sakic in over the line. Stick handling, center one. Ricci cuts in. Tied up. Weinrich able to prevent a shot and knock him down without drawing a whistle. As Gary Suter cleared it ahead, but Daze's touch pass didn't connect. Then Weinrich follows up. And we're going to have a penalty as Ricci took Suter down. Here comes Daze in over the line. Stops and shoots. It didn't connect. Get through. Here's Savard to the far board. Across for Suter at the near dot. Center one. Deflected just wide by Daze. Hawks have the extra attacker on. And now the Avs able to get possession. And the whistle sounds.
9:26, the time of this penalty. And in 11 seconds, the Blackhawks are going to have a 2-man advantage for 32 seconds. So this could be a good opportunity for them to score a couple of quick ones here. At least get one. Halfway through, Ricci took down Suter, put the stick between his legs and spun him around, and down he went right in front of everyone. No attempt to hide it. So Hackett has gone to the bench for a refreshment, and Kerry Fraser trying to keep them moving. Hackett goes forced back to the net, and the Hawks will have a 2-man advantage as soon as Dubinsky's penalty is over with.
A major opportunity here for the Hawks to try to get back in the battle, trailing 3-0. They're going to have a 2-man advantage for half a minute. Face-off will be to the right of Waugh. Forsberg and Chance ready. The draw. The Hawks looked like they were going to get it, but Adam Foote able to reach the puck and clear it to center. Back over the line, and a penalty is Forsberg was interfered with, says Kerry Fraser, and Jeff Chance heads right to the box.
There have been 4 penalties called in this game that should not have been called, and there's another one. That's like 3 in a row. Look at that. Great opportunity squandered there as the dive taken there as Forsberg went to the ice, and Chance in disbelief went right to the bench in a hurry.
Time of the penalty, 9:37.
9:37. That just as the other penalty expired. Look at that. Just bumped into him. Just barely touched him.
So it'll be a 4-on-3 skating advantage for Chicago for just half a minute. With a face-off coming up at center ice. And here's the draw. Bouncing around, and they're going to rule, I think, a hand pass against the Avalanche, so the whistle sounds. Adam Foote, what an outstanding unsung defenseman he was for many years when he first came into the league. He's not a guy who's going to put up big numbers, but there's a classic example of a guy that we've heard suggestions over the years that there ought to be a award for defensive defenseman. He'd be a strong candidate every season. Here's the play in the Avalanche zone. Chelios to the deep slot for Weinrich near dot. Weinrich hangs on back to Chelios. A one-timer is blocked. And the race is on at center. Here's a hustling Yell getting to it. Weinrich trying to catch him. Yell moves in. Shoot. His turnaround shot just missed the near post. And now the first Colorado penalty's over, so we'll have 4 skaters aside. As the puck is cleared into the Chicago zone. Over to the far side it goes. Amati circles deep into his own end. Now we're halfway through the second period. Here's a giveaway to Forsberg. He shoots one. Put it up off the glass. And Colorado with a 3-0 lead. Midway through regulation time. Here's Kaminsky over the Hawk line. A drop pass to Forsberg, moves to the near circle, spins with it, got tied up by Kevin Miller, then Clem got there to help. Back to Forsberg, and it hopped away from him to the near side where Chelios got it to Daze. He feeds Gary Suter, stepping over the Avalanche line. Suter weaves to the near corner with it. The backhand pass hit didn't get through, and now the Avalanche carry back to center as Forsberg dumps it in, and Ozolin's ruled to be offside on the play. 8:45 remaining in period 2. It's 3-0 Avalanche on the Blackhawk Network.
Post game and a Bulls playoff report on the Sports Channel Report tonight.
Well, amazing how quickly a game can turn around. It's 3-0. The Hawks look like they might get a little life with a 2-man advantage. Bang. That's nullified by a bad penalty. And instead of having some life and maybe some optimism, Colorado now will get a small power play in about 7 seconds.
Here's Carney deep in his own end. Gave it to Suter. Banked it ahead to James Black on the right wing boards. Chipped it to Suter, who was stripped at the Colorado line. And now all the penalties are over, so both teams are back at full strength as Carney fans in a clearing effort. It's held into the corner, and Jones cuts in, shoots, and a save by Hackett. And the Hawks clear it back the other way. Keith Jones fires it into the Hog zone. Joe Sakic chased it down, tried to center Chance in the slot to steal it. Oh, he had his head down, and Denmarsh made him pay with a crunching hit. But now the Hawks come back with it to center as Cummins dumps one in, taken by Foote. Adam Foote knocked down in the corner, and he's on top of the the puck in the whistle sound.
Jeff Shantz turns and bang. That's head up in the winter and head down in the summer. All right, the reverse. Amazing the recuperative powers today and the technology available to get players back into the lineup. And it looked like Deadmarsh might be out for the series after that knee-to-knee collision with Weinrich. And amazing stuff that they have today for a thigh bruiser. Charlie Horse, he might be out for a long time.
Face-off will be to the right of Waugh. And the draw taken by foot for Colorado. Aired it to the near side. Gooseroff. And put it back to the right wing boards where Ricci shoots it in. Chelios leads Amani on the near side. Cleared it ahead. Shantz chasing for it. Gets in over the line. Cuts to the net. Shantz fought off a hook. Now walks in behind the center. Ciccone a drive. And a save by Waugh. The rebound wound up on top of the goal. I think it was Morrow that took a hack at it in midair. And the puck wound up on the mesh on the top of the net. And the whistle sounds as there's some pushing and shoving behind the Colorado goal.
Jeff Shantz was hooked, was unable to get a shot away, but he circled in behind the net and saw the late comer, which was Ciccone, and he put it on the money, and Ciccone's shot stopped, deflected up into the air. Good heads-up play. The puck went on edge. A low shot to the stick side, kicked away and swatted at by Morrow up into the air, and it lands on top of the net. And Ricci's right there, and then Foot and Morrow have a shoving match. The no penalties called. Well, Ricci makes a nice play, hooks him, and doesn't allow him to shoot the puck, but Shantz continued on. And Waugh bounced back up to make a good save with that right toe, and they both swat at it up in the air and lands on the mesh. And Ricci grabs it and holds onto it.
Face-off will be to the right of Patrick Waugh, who's played more minutes in playoff competition than any other goaltender in history. He'll go over 8,700 playoff minutes tonight, trying to record his 89th victory, which would be the most of anybody in playoff history. Here's the play back of his own goal. As Probert tried to center it, deflects to Forsberg. And Peter Forsberg going to have a penalty behind the play. The Hawks are going to get whistled down here once more. And is it Savard he's waving at? I think it is.
There have been more piddly penalties.
Say that fast 10 times.
For a game of this importance, you can't believe some of the penalties have been called. So Colorado will get its fifth power play. The Hawks are 0 for 4. Colorado's 2 for 4. And the last 4 penalties, Kaminsky for a hook. Carney took a dive. Ricci tripped Suter. Bit of a dive there. Shantz bumped into Forsberg accidentally. That was an interference call. Savard in the penalty box for interference. While the play was in the neutral zone, he called the penalty on Savard. Back.
So the Avalanche will head back to the man advantage, and here's the draw. Taken by Joe Sakic. Sakic's pass rink wide, deflected by Black. And got help from Miller to clear it. Now Ozolinch threw it to the near side, just hoping to complete that pass. It didn't connect. James Black steals. And then Ozolinch managed to regain control. Ahead for Jones. Keith Jones sends it into the hog zone. Deadmarsh leads it to the near side for Jones. Out to the line, Ozolinch. His long shot is blocked by Shantz, but it went to the far side. Sakic a drive and a save by Hackett. And the Hawks unable to clear. Now a minute is left on the Sakic feeds Kaminsky on left wing, steaming over the line. Weinrich went down. He shoots and scores. Valerie Kaminsky got Weinrich with the happy feet, walked right around him and fired a shot off the far post and in. The third power play goal of the game for Colorado. The second for Kaminsky. It's 4-0.
Eric Weinrich had a bad foot. His left foot is a bad stop the shot last game. Was doubtful for tonight, and it seemed when he tried to put weight on it, it just gave out on him. He was pretty swollen yesterday coming here, and it's the second time in this game where he's fallen while trying to put weight on that single foot, that left foot. Kaminsky just blew around him, and then on the off wing, beat Hackett off the post and in. 4-0 Colorado. 3 power play goals in 5 chances.
So it's 4-0 in favor of the Avalanche, and here's the draw. Into the Hog zone, Kriva Krasov got checked by Young. Came free to the near side. McQuaid delivered a hit on Weinrich, and then Corbet came out of there with it. Corbet for Young, tapped it in behind to Lacroix. Lacroix now with a wrap around it, rolled off the end of his stick, and the Hogs clear it to the near side, and Cummins, who bangs it back the other way. A big hit by Ozolinsh. He's going to get a penalty as he flattened Cummins right in front of the official. And the Blackhawks will head to the power play, and Ozolinsh can't believe it. I can't either.
That was a good hit. 14:50 the time of the penalty, and it'll be the Blackhawks' 5th power play. Hawks, though, the difference, are 0 for 4. Colorado's got 3 in 5 chances. Nothing wrong with that hit. He just turned the favor, and he went shoulder to the chest, knocked them down. Why is that a penalty?
Charging. He's in the spread. He never pumped his legs at all. But the Blackhawks glad to get a power play chance. Nothing out of 4 so far in the game. And 1 for 21 so far in the series. Face-off will be to the left of Patrick Roy. Here's the draw. To the near corner, Daze delivered a hit so the Hawks could play the puck, and at the line is Weinrich. To the far side, and Chance. Deep slot to Chelios. It bounced over his stick. Back to center ice. Here's Chelios starting out of his own end. Ahead for Amani up the left side. He's got the line around and check, cuts in, shoots. He missed the target. Rebound to the near point. Chelios across to Weinrich. Sent it Daze right in. His shot hit Gooserov, who was turning away from it. Trying to check another player. It's held in by Chelios. Far point to Weinrich. Sent it. Chance cuts in, shoots. That's blocked as well by Foot this time. And he was trying to make that shot block. And the Avs clear it.
Good movement by the Blackhawks and good skating by Amante, and then good passing, but none of the shots get through. Amante shot wide. Daze's hit a leg, and there's Chance blocked by Foot.
Sakic over the Hawk line. A wrist shot. He just missed the near post with that. Just under a minute remaining on the Chicago power play. As Chelios and Forsberg battle in the near corner. And it's down goes Forsberg, and a penalty going to be called on Chelios, who gives him another little shove for extra measure.
So the Hawks will be 0 for 5, and Colorado will get a power play in 37 seconds.
Forsberg gave Chelios a shot in the side of the leg, an unprotected area. It was not a vicious, violent move, but a move nonetheless that could certainly cause pain, maybe do some damage. He's pretty good at that.
Well, Chelios gave him one before that, though, and the first Fracas in the corner. Forsberg has been hit a lot, and he's given out a lot, too, and he gets away with a lot. And so does Chris Chelios. Hawks with some penalties killing them here with any chance of getting any momentum, but their power play again really suspect. 0 for 5. 1 for 22 in the series.
Here's the draw. Claude Lemieux to the far corner. Shoots from there. Hackett made the save. Puck came loose to the far board. Dubinsky managed to roll it ahead. Krivo one-on-one against Lefebvre. In over the line. Trying to pull it to the backhand, but couldn't maintain possession. Dubinsky now jammed it loose. Krivo cuts to the net. Stick handling now in behind. Then a wraparound. And somehow was blocked. I don't know whether Waugh got it or not. And 2-on-1 the other way for Colorado. Forsberg over the line for Clem. He scores. After the Hawks, Kriva Krasov missed a terrific scoring chance at one end. Colorado counters with a 2-on-1, and Clem makes it a 5-0 Avalanche lead.
Well, it's a chance you take. This is 4-on-4. Krivo, instead of shooting from a sharp angle, goes behind the net, tries to wrap around, has Raw down. But Forsberg, who makes the play, deflects it away to Clem, the defenseman's 2-on-1. Sewer in deep. Carney, the lone guy, back. He commits to Forsberg, back to Clem, who made the original pass. And into the net, Hackett had no chance. So the player that makes the play at the one end defensively makes the pass to set up the defenseman on a 2-on-1 break. And Colorado, dominant 5-0 lead here with 3:16 to go, and they're going to go to the power play in 6 seconds and try to fatten up that lead.
Forsberg gets his third assist of the game. Here's Denmarsh deep in the Hawk zone. Put it around the boards. Kaminsky far side. Back to the line, Sakic. Joe Sakic's pass is picked off. And the Hawks, Carney, able to clear it. And the Hawks are shorthanded for another minute. Now Kaminsky with 2 goals in the game. Cleared it to center and Sakic. Joe Sakic over the Hawk line. Leaves it for Denmarsh, who rings it around the boards. Keith Jones on the far side. Got it to Kaminsky. Then Weinrich knocked it loose. It rolled into the slot. And Chance able to pick it up there. Having difficulty trying to clear it, and then never did get it out. Denmarsh in the near corner. Out it along the boards to Sakic. Sakic top of the near circle. Threw it to the side of the net. Denmarsh, a backhander, just rolled through the goal crease. Far point to Ozolinsh. Ozolinsh along the boards with it. Tried to center. Carney with good coverage on Denmarsh. Blocked that feed, and then Sakic held it in. His shot hit Chance. Deflect into the line. Held in by Kaminsky. Both teams now back at full strength. Kaminsky works his way back of the Hawk net. Center on a shot. Saved by Hackett. Rebound to the near side. Lefebvre holding it in. He shoots. That's blocked by Carney, who dives trying to clear it but could not. Lost his stick. Was given the stick of Black. Now the side of goal. Jones centered. And Lacroix couldn't get any wood on that. And Carney is exhausted or shaken up trying to chase for it. He pulled up after going for that last loose puck. Here's the play still in the Hawk zone as Weinrich, desperately wanting to clear it, fires it back the other way. And we're now going into the final minute of the second period as the Avs dump it in. Eric Weinrich to the near side, and Chelios feeding Daze, who rolled it ahead, and it's Here's a two-line pass accepted by Savard. The whistle sounds in the final minute of period 2. Colorado lighten up the Hawks on a power play. They get 3 of those goals, 5 altogether. It's 5-0 Avs.
Colorado with a 5-0 lead. With 51 seconds left to go here in the second period. Dominant performance by the Avalanche. 3 power play goals. The Hawks really look like they're a step behind. They've been that way all night long.
Enrico Ciccone coughed it up at his own line. Corbet on the far side. Stopped nicely by Chelios. Puck came free though, and Ciccone able to pick it up, feeding Savard to center. Savard in over the line. Center one, Daze. And a bouncing pass, or at least it was a tweener. He couldn't quite pick it up cleanly. Now in front to Probert. A shot. Wow, the save. One of the few times he's had to make a big save here in this second period, and he did.
Blackhawks with 10 shots in the period. Colorado has only had 7, but 2 have gone in. Good pass by Savard to Probert, and Probert right into the chest, right into the crest of Patrick Roy. Looking for his 89th and his 10th career playoff shutout.
The record for postseason shutouts is 15. Here's the draw. Ciccone long shot. Wow, saw it all the way and stopped it. And the rebound is cleared back to the Chicago line. Ciccone flipped it back into the Avalanche zone. Adam Foote is there. Put it to the near side where Ricci hoists one. Back the other way, and that's going to do it for the second period. 2 more goals for Colorado in period 2. The first from Valeri Kaminsky, his second goal of the game, a power play tally assisted by Joe Sakic at 14-12. And then a late goal on a 2-on-1 break from John Clem, assisted by Forsberg and Lemieux. 3 assists in the game for Peter Forsberg. That goal at 16:44. 11 shots on goal for Chicago, 7 for Colorado. And after 40 minutes of play, it's 21 Avalanche shots, 17 Blackhawk shots. At the end of 2 periods in Denver, the Avalanche 5, the Blackhawks nothing. On the Blackhawk Playoff Network.
Blackhawks trail 5-0 at the end of 2 periods of play. I'm going to sum it up this way, Murray. Patrick Roy has stopped all 21 shots that he's seen. Joe Sakic has 2 assists in the game. Peter Forsberg has 3 assists. Claude Lemieux a goal and 2. The big guys have come to play in this game tonight for Colorado.
Yes, they have, and that's something that didn't happen in Chicago. Patrick didn't play particularly well, and Forsberg was held off the sheet for the most part. Lemieux got his goal, but those guys have played very well, and the Hawks look a little sluggish tonight. They're a step and a half behind on almost every play.
Time now for our Ameritech call of the period. A look and a listen to this. We're back with more highlights after this timeout.
Suter for Amani in over the line. Amani put it to the far side. Probert for Suter, right up the slot. Stick handle, shoots, and it's saved by Waugh. Rebound! Waugh the save! And he stopped a second and third shot as well. Out of the park.
Time now to check the other games going on tonight around the NHL in the Stanley Cup playoffs. First of all, Game 4 between New Jersey and Montreal in Montreal. The Canadiens fell behind early 2-0. Got a goal to make it 2-1. Then Turner Stevenson in on the breakaway. Somehow gets it past Martin Brodeur. Or does he? He goes crashing into the net is what happens. But take a look at the replay. Where is the puck? They call it a goal. Game tied at 2. Then a couple of minutes later, Mark Recchi, looking for his second goal of the game, fires, and somehow it trickled into the net. Recchi's 4th of the playoffs so far, but moments ago, Lyle Odeline tied this game at 3. They are through 3 and getting ready to go to overtime. The New Jersey Devils can polish off the Canadiens if they get the goal in overtime. The other game is just about ready to get underway. It'll be played in Anaheim as the Phoenix Coyotes take on the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim. That series, of course, is tied up at 2-2. When we come back after this timeout, we will take a look at the highlights from the second period of play. The Hawks are in a bit of a spot, wouldn't you say? Down 5-0 at the end of 2. Long enough to update tonight's puck priorities. Here they are. Door number 5, we're still well, number 5 might stand for 5 goals, Mary, at this point. Number 2, Iceberg, Peter Forsberg, 3 assists. And the last item, puck control. Colorado 3 power play goals. And the Blackhawks are down 5-0 at the end of 2 periods of play. Here's the highlights of what the Avalanche were able to do in the second period of play. And we learned one game has no effect on the other in this series, haven't we? Let's get ready for Game 6. Here's Gary Suter with the puck, trying to find the corner on Patrick Roy. 3 saves on one sequence for Patrick Roy, keeping the Blackhawks out of the net. And here's Joe Sakic. Plays the point of the power play, carries it up, gives it up to Valeri Kaminsky, and then he just goes around Eric Weinrich and scores. That made it 4-0. But here, Murray, may have been the sequence of the game that put it away for Colorado.
This is a great opportunity for the Hawks to score, and as so often happens, they get shut down. Good defense on the play. Colorado counters and comes back the other way with a 2-on-1, and they don't make many mistakes. When you give them odd man breaks, good passing, good puck movement, and it ends up in the Hawks' net. But again, we had a good chance to score. They stopped it. Come right back the other way.
And what an assist by Claude Lemieux on that goal. They did give him an assist for that. Hard to believe, but they did. We're halfway through this intermission. Sit tight. We'll be right back. On the flip side, Murray's going to tell us what we can expect to see in the third, and it's probably just heat up the plane and get ready to bury these guys when they come to Chicago. But we're coming back after this. Third period coming up. Blackhawks down 5-0. Murray, we were in a similar situation in Game 1, and the Blackhawks came out and got very chippy, extended the length of the game, a lot of penalties. Will we see the same thing in the coming third period?
I doubt that, Jim. I think the point was made in the first period that the Hawks were going to be physical, and the frustration that showed in the first game I don't believe you're going to see now. It's a different series. The Hawks know they're coming home. They just got to keep playing and hopefully make some good things happen so that when they do get home, they'll be prepared for it.
Granted, after this game, unless the Blackhawks make up a 5-goal deficit, their backs will be against the wall. They can afford no more mistakes. But I just don't sense the urgency about this because they've played so well at home and they have handled this team. Not the panic that there was almost seemed to be after Game 1. Do you agree?
Yes, I do. They're still coming home and their backs are to the wall because if they lose, they're going to be out. But they realize that they have the game at home. They can win that and bring it back to Colorado. And in a Game 7, it's Game 7. It doesn't really matter who you're playing, where you're playing. Anybody's got an opportunity to win.
And going into tonight's game, the Blackhawks knew they had to win one game in this series in Colorado to win the series. Doesn't matter whether it's Game 5 or Game 7. We're going to the third period of Game 5 coming up right after this timeout. The Avalanche lead at 5-0.
Colorado with a commanding 5-0 lead to start the third period. 3 power play goals out of 5. The Hawks with no power play goals in 5 chances. 3 for 6, I should say, Colorado. Saturday night, Game 6 between the Hawks and Avalanche will be televised live from the United Center right here on the Sports Channel. We'll have a special 1-hour pregame show live from the United Center at 6:30, followed by the puck drop at 7:30. Jeff Hackett has been replaced the second time in this series. Chris Terreri, 4-1-2 with a save percentage of .901 and his goals against .266. In his brief stint as a Blackhawk, he has just recently signed a new contract, so he'll be around for a while. And he replaced Hackett in Game 1 and did an outstanding job. Jeff Hackett not to be blamed here at all. 4 of the 5 goals anyway.
So Terreri will be down to our right here in the third period for Chicago. Patrick Roy to our left for Colorado. 5-0 Avalanche as we open up period 3. And Chris Chelios, who played 23.5 minutes out of the first 40, clears it into the Colorado zone. And it's shot back to center where Carney gets help from Chelios. And he clears one to the Avalanche line. John Clem flipped it high to the Hawk blue line. Taken there by Chelios. His pass deflects. And Carney trying to tie up Lacroix. He did. Now Now Daze works his way to center, feeding Chelios. Sidesteps the hit, gets to the line, shoots, and a pad save by Waugh. Rebound to the far corner. Chelios got checked. Savard center, deflecting out of the reach of Probert. Back into the Chicago zone. Ciccone able to clear it to the neutral area. And the Avs put it back in offside. Well, I had a wonderful day yesterday. Got to play golf with a buddy of mine at one of the greatest public fee golf courses you'll ever find. Kemper Lakes, beautiful Kemper Lakes in Hawthorne Woods. It's in great shape, and after having a little din-din-dale, I got home just in time to turn the television set on and see the finish, the last 2 minutes of the game in Pittsburgh. Wasn't that something? That was beautiful. Mario Lemieux, who in his first shift in the NHL as a member of the Penguins stole a puck from Raymond Bourque, walked in and scored in his first shift as a kid, as an NHL player, on what could well be his last shift in Pittsburgh as a Penguin. Gets a breakaway and scores. I mean, it was just beautiful.
Well, you played Kemper Lakes, I played Ruffle Feathers, so you got to go north and you better go south now.
You know me, half clubs will travel.
They're calling you Demo Foley. You play better with demo clubs than you do your own. Gooserov just stopped a dump-in slap shot in the ankle.
As the Avalanche controls in their own end. Lefebvre's pass stolen by Morrow, back in over the line, but he's surrounded by white-sweatered Colorado players, and Mike Keane takes it away, clearing it back into the Chicago zone. Cam Russell got it to Suter, whose pass was too far for Kevin Miller. And Deadmarsh cleared it ahead. Sakic racing in on Weinrich, cuts toward the net, trying to center. A diving block by Ciccone of the pass. Now Jones behind the goal to Sakic. Joe Sakic tried to center. Jones couldn't get rid of a shot as he was knocked down. And the Hawks start back. Kevin Miller in over the line to Ciccone. Centered it. Miller was stripped of it nicely by Aaron Miller, unrelated, and he clears it back to center ice. Riva Krasov rolled it to the far side. Taken there by Forsberg. Forsberg, a long wrist shot. Terreri gloves it easily for Chelios. Chris Chelios to the near side, and Black. James Black cleared it to center. Over the line is Cummins with a centering attempt. Dubinsky knocked down. Going to get a penalty as Dubinsky went crashing into the end boards, and he's slow to get up. He's tried to get up and now stays down for a moment.
Well, that was an awkward move there. He was tripped up by Ozolinsh in a dangerous position. He was going full speed and went crashing in and did a somersault after he hit the boards. He's going to the backhand. Ozolinsh takes him down, and boy, feet, knees, head, and back. Can't believe he's back up. Dubinsky, who's been terrific in the games that he's played in since being called up, and seems to be all right, but he'll be stiff and sore tomorrow. Hit the ankles, hit the knees, rolled over and hit his back. And Ozolinsh goes to the box, and the Hawks with another power play. They're 0 for 5 with a man advantage. .255 the time of the power play opportunity. 1 for 22 in the series.
As the draw is taken by Amani, fires it around the boards. Mike Keane tied up by Chelios into the corner. Now it squirts loose to the far point. Daze held it in for Weinrich. Cuts in, centered one. It deflected behind Amani to Chelios. Now Amani with it along the board. Side of the goal, Daze Back to the line for Chelios. Beating Amati, far point along wrist shot. Tip deflected wide by Daze, and off the inboards. Waugh able to smother it.
Well, Daze scored a goal in the first game that was disallowed that would have beaten Waugh's shutout bid. The Hawks ended up losing 6-0. They ruled a man was in the crease when he let the backhand shot go. Daze peels to the front of the net, waits for the shot. Amante puts it on towards Daze for a deflection. He deflects it, but just wide of the far side. 2 goals and 1 assist with 13 shots at home. No goals, no assists with 1 shot here in Colorado, but he did have that 1 goal disallowed.
The Avs get the draw and clear it. Now Chelios with Shans to center. Bouncing it in there. Jeff Shans from Pilafay fought off the hit in behind the goal. To the near side now, and Amati leaves it for Shans to the far point of Chelios. Trying to get it across to Weinrich. Joe Sakic had the read and then deflects it back the other way. Just under a minute left on the Chicago power play. Amati had the puck behind him as he crossed the line, and the whistle sounds.
Well, this has been a different look team tonight. The Hawks right out of sync, everything. Passing's off, they're 1 step behind. Concentration seems to be lapsing at certain times. Hawks had a tough travel day yesterday. They were at a charter out here at 2:30 in the afternoon. The charter got canceled. They had to hang around for about 3 hours at O'Hare to get a plane, and then didn't get here till about 7 at night. It seems to have taken an effect.
Here's the draw to Suter to the near dot. Shoots it, didn't get through. Adam Foote, another shot block. And it's cleared back the other way. Now Chelios. Pushed it ahead. Kevin Miller dumping it in. Patrick Waugh lost the handle for a moment, but Gusarov bangs it to the near side. Suter keeps it in there. Over to the far side. Yell. Able to get it away from Chelios and clear it to center ice, and Keane. Mike Keane in over the Hawk line. Far side has Foote catching the play. Gave it to him. He's in. Terreri. A diving save to his right, and the rebound just squirted away from Keane to center ice. Now the Hawk penalty's over. Or I should say the Colorado penalty over, and both teams are at full strength. Suter along feet on the money. Black has a breakaway. James Black is in. He shoots. And a save by Waugh. Rebound to Cummins, whose pass is picked off, and Deadmarsh looking to counter. Carries it back over the Hawk line. Fires. Terreri with a left pad. And the rebound to Dubinsky, who kicked it back to the neutral zone. And the Avalanche has Jones dumping it in. Hawks clear it back to center ice. Here's Kaminsky in over the Chicago line. Stick handling, trying to walk through a couple of checks. Got knocked down instead. And Suter just blindly threw it right to Forsberg along the boards. Who centers. Ozolin's a shot. What a save by Terreri. Rebound to Russell, and down goes Lemieux, and Suter, who has had a tough night, will be sent off here. 6 minutes gone by in the third period. Is Colorado 5, Chicago nothing on the
break. Patrick Waugh's shutout bid, his second of this series. James Black, perfect pass up the middle from Suter, goes one-on-one, tries to go to the stick side, and Patrick Waugh deflects it away. Black, who has scored 1 goal in this series, scored the lone goal in this building up till now in the tail end of the first period of game 2. Suter, meanwhile, in the box for cross-checking at the 6-minute mark. Colorado goes to the power play. Chris Chelios, who played a lot of ice, had a lot of ice time the first 2 periods, out there again. The Hawks trailing 5-0.
Here's the draw in the Hawk zone. Carney got yanked down with a puck, squirts to Dubinsky, and he rolled it back the other way. Thomas Ozelich. Starting out of his own end. He is unchecked to center, cleared it over the line. Clem on the far side. Stopping. Threw it into the corner. Sakic cuts toward the net center. Ricci and a save by Terreri. Rebound taken by Deadmarsh. He's got it along the far board. Fakes a shot. Now to the corner, and Sakic cuts in behind the goal. Goes Sakic. Standing behind the Hawk net. Now Chelios able to get to him. Sweep it away. Dubinsky chipped it ahead. Amani's going to have a breakaway. Tony Amani from center ice in alone. Here he comes. He shoots. And a save by Waugh. 2 breakaways for the Hawks here in the third. And Patrick Waugh has stopped both Black and Amani. There's Deadmarsh over the line. Trying to stick handle. Moves in behind the goal with it. And a penalty's going to be called against Chicago. Deadmarsh behind the Hawk net. Lost the handle. And the whistle sounds.
Short-handed break for Amante. He's had numerous breakaways in this series. Tried to move twice to stop. This time tried to go through the 5-hole. And Waugh back-to-back breakaway saves. And now a slashing penalty called on James Black. So 2-man advantage for 41 seconds.
So the face-off will be to the right of Chris Terreri. And the Avalanche with Forsberg, Lemieux, and Kaminsky in front of Foote and Ozelich. The Hawks have Weinrich, Chelios, and Chance on the ice. Face-off deep in the Hawk zone. Now the draw to the line, and Ozelich. Near point to Foote. Put it to the side of the goal. Forsberg, center one, a shot. Oh, Terreri from post to post. A great save on Kaminsky, who had his bid for a hat trick.
Great flexibility by Terreri as they try to get Kaminsky the hat trick. The feather pass by Forsberg over the outstretched stick of Weinrich. An unbelievable stretch by Terreri from left post to right post. And fully extended with his right leg, stops Kaminsky's attempt for the hat trick. Seconds left on the Suter penalty, a minute 49 on the Black penalty. So a 2-man advantage for that 30-second period.
Here's the draw to Weinrich, who hammers it around the board. Not out. Foote did well to keep it in, but his pass missed Lemieux. Came back to the near side. Foote holds it in. Along the boards, it spurts away from Forsberg. Terreri trying to clear it himself, could not. It bounced around to the near side. And Foote has it for Colorado. Adam Foote to the deep slot. Put it to Ozelich, top of the far circle. Side of the net, Kaminsky takes a look. Hangs on center. It was tipped in off of Weinrich, I think. Either Lemieux or Weinrich, but I think it was Eric Weinrich that was trying to block the feed and inadvertently had to hit him and go into the Hawk goal. And Valerie Kaminsky will be awarded his hat-trick goal for the game, all on the power play. 6-0 Colorado.
4 for 7 on the power play. Weinrich trying to pay attention to Lemieux. Tried to block the pass to Forsberg and into the net past the startled Chris Terreri. 2-man advantage power play. They'll stay in the power play. Was the other penalty over? Yeah. So no power play. Now they're 4 for 8, Colorado. 50%. So they're 8 for 35 in the series with a man advantage.
8 power play goals in 5 games for Colorado. 1 power play goal in 5 games for Chicago. And that is fairly big part of the reason that the Avalanche will have a 3-2 lead in the series. It'll be must-win, literally, for the Blackhawks when the scene swings back to Chicago for a game on Saturday night. We'll have radio and television for that one for you. The MVP pregame beginning at 7. The Sports Channel pregame show at 6:30. The Hawks and the Avalanche for Game 6 in the UC. And 7:30, Dale and I'll have the puck drop for you. The 89th straight sellout here in McNichols Arena. They're all on their feet, loving it, waving their pom-poms, having a ball as they're defending champions. Scored early and often against the Blackhawks here tonight.
Avalanche goal, a power play goal, his third of the game and third of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Scored by number 13,
There's the draw now. Cleared into the Colorado zone. They're giving 2 assists on that goal. How's that possible? I thought when a puck was put in by the opposing player, it should be an unassisted goal. But a couple of assists are given to Avalanche and Foote at the 8:01 mark of the third period. Is Aaron Miller. Clears it back into the Chicago zone. Taken by Cam Russell. Clearing it up the boards to center. And a little pushing and shoving on the near side, but no damage done. With 11 minutes remaining in the third period. Colorado with a commanding 6-0 lead over Chicago on the Blackhawk Network.
10 seconds away from his 89th career playoff victory. He just announced that this is the 88th straight sellout here in Colorado. And there's going to be a cheap penalty called on Ozolin. Man, half the penalties shouldn't have been called in this game. So the Blackhawks are going to get a power play. And guess what? Colorado's at 8, and this will be the 7th for the Blackhawks. So 15 power plays in the game that really has not been that physical or that kind of stuff going on. Maybe an opportunity to experiment a little bit here in the power play and try something different, trailing 6-0, to see if they can get somebody hot on the power play or a unit that might be able to do something. Ethan Morrow joins Amante and Chance, and Weinrich and Chelios on the points. So 0 for 6 with the power play.
As it's cleared into the Colorado zone, taken by Gusarov. He couldn't get it out. On the far side, Amante at the line with it. Banks it up the boards, and Gusarov able to get possession and clear it. Eric Weinrich bounced it off the leg of Amante deep into the Colorado zone. Watt trying to clear it himself. He does. Well, Dennis Savard said it after the second game here in Denver. There's an area where Patrick Roy has shown marked improvement. It wasn't that great a puck handler several years back, but that's something that has really become a big part of his arsenal, which was pretty strong to start with. As the puck is cleared into the Hawk zone. And there's a minute left on the Chicago power play. Amante gave it to Suter. Now over the line, Savard to the far side, trying to center, but it missed Daze. Back of the goal it goes. Daze center, Probert a shot. Wow, with the glove. Hangs on.
Bob Probert alone in front. Probert been in front of the net all night long. Has had a solid performance for the Hawks. One of their bright lights, and a rather dismal performance by the whole team. Daze out front, the backhand shot right into the glove of Waugh. A little mustard on that one, though. He lifts it and shows it to the crowd. 41 seconds left on this 6th Blackhawk power play that is 7th power play that's 0 for 6.
The draw to Suter on the near point. Across for Carney. Here's a long centering attempt. Too hot to handle. Taken by Savard to the near side. Moves back to the line with it. Shifted to Suter. Battles to hold it in. He did. Got it to Carney on the far side. Keith Carney's pass stolen by Joe Sakic. And Colorado's captain Sakic cleared it over the line. Here's a drive from Young. Gloved by Terreri. And as the Hawks start back, the Colorado penalty is over. Both teams are at full strength again. Suter in the Colorado zone to Carney, a long shot. And a save by Waugh. Rebound Probert far side. Moves to the deep slot, then lost the handle. And it winds up in the neutral zone. Probert pumped by Lacroix. Now he went back at Lacroix, cross-checked him in the back of the head, then gave another shot. He'll get at least one penalty, maybe more.
Well, he got his money's worth there.
8.5 left now in the...
Bob Probert only gets 2. For high sticking, 11-23, got his money's worth. He cross-checked him in the back of the head as Lacroix tried to escape from him and then turned and drilled him. And Colorado goes to the power play for the 9th time. They're 4 for 8.
Gary Fraser, sort of a bemused look on his face. Oh, and here's Terreri going to get a penalty. Boy, if it can go wrong, it has for the Hawks tonight. Terreri with easy possession of a Colorado dump in, tried to put it off the glass. Lifted it too high, and the Hawks will be 2 men short.
That penalty should be called on everybody. Anybody who shoots it in the crowd should get a penalty. If you're going to call the goalies, which is a tougher thing to do, you've got to call everybody to do it. And you'd want your goaltender not to attempt that play while you're a man short. Terreri just fired it straight into the crowd without even missed the glass by 10 feet. Unfortunate. Second 2-man advantage of this period. Somebody's got to win a road game if they want to win this series. Knox will have to hold serve and have to win Game 6 at home to get the opportunity to win a Game 7 here. Now 3 games in here, the first period has killed them.
Here's the draw, won by Shantz to Carney. Shantz able to carry to center. Finally had it knocked away to Keith Jones. He steps over the Hawk line near side. Left it for Deadmarsh. Adam Deadmarsh, side of the goal to Jones. Moved it back to the line and foot. Far circle to Ozelinch, who fires. Terreri got a piece with the left arm. Rebound to side of the goal. Jones hacked at it. But Terreri beat him to the near post. Shantz picks it up and clears. Far side foot. And to flip it in with a 2-man advantage, Weinrich picked it off to Amati. He wastes a few seconds before sending it the length. Just under a minute left in the first Chicago penalty. Here's Ozelinch. To the near side, Lefebvre gains the line. Had to ring it around the boards, but offside is called anyway. And Mark Crawford giving some rewards here to guys that don't get a lot of power play time. Lefebvre was out there. Here's Corbet getting a shift. Scott Young on the ice. Opportunity to grab some stats with the outcome already decided.
Well, 12 power plays in Game 1, 10 power plays now here in Game 3 in this building.
Here's the draw. Strike to Young, a shot, and Chelios able to recover and deflect it out of play. were talking about that shooting, the delay of game penalty, shooting it into the crowd. I wonder what the league's going to do before next season about this whole goal, no goal situation. There's one series, the Anaheim-Phoenix series. I understand there have been 6 goals disallowed in the first 4 games of that series. There's the Colorado power play. Clem centered one. Sakic peels off to the near dot. Back to Clem. Now Sakic near circle to Clem. His one-timer is blocked by a sliding Dubinsky. To the far side, Lefebvre has it. Gave it to Young. Back to Lefebvre. A long shot deflecting up high. Came to the near side, and Weinrich clears it the length of the ice. And that'll take care of the first Blackhawk penalty. Lefebvre will dump it in with a one-man advantage, and down goes Young, and the Hawks are going to get another penalty. Now, it might have been Probert who just came back out of the ice, out of the penalty box. As the Avalanche have off to the bench, and they have an extra skater on with this delayed penalty to be called against Chicago. Kaminsky cleared it to Lemieux. A touch pass over the line. Forsberg moves in, shoots, shot it wide. Came to the near point. Foot is there. Put it across. Now at the side of the goal, here's a drive from Kaminsky going wide. And as the Hawks control, the whistle sounds, and Kaminsky got the stick up as Probert took a run at him. Probert wanted to retaliate. He will be kept from getting back at Kaminsky right here.
So Colorado will have its 11th power play.
You know, they're starting to talk about that in the crease rule. That several situations in this series that have occurred. 6 goals have been disallowed in one series out west. And how about the game last night between Buffalo and Quebec? Ottawa, I should say. Ottawa wound up winning the game in overtime, but they had a goal that should have been allowed that was not. And what if that call goes, the game goes the other way? It's 3-1 in the series for Buffalo instead of 2-2, which it should be and is. But it's amazing how many goals have been disallowed because of a foot on the line of the crease. And even Eric Weinrich before the game. Here's a guy paid to stop goals against. He's not a guy's going to pile up a lot of points. I asked him his read on his opinion of it. He said he'd like it go back to where it was goaltender interference. It has to have an influence on the play to have a goal disallowed, not just being in the blue painted goal crease.
Well, first of all, the crease is too big. And second of all, it should have an impact on the goal. If it doesn't impact the goal, it should be a goal, period. So Probert gets 4 minutes. Four for 10 with the power play, about 40% efficiency.
Here's John Clem at his own line. Clem will send it into the Hawks zone, hit Carney, and bounce right to Weinrich, and he fires it back the other way. Clem to Keane at center, rolled it over the line, Yell to the far corner with it. Yell got checked by Weinrich behind the net, came back to the near point. Aaron Miller holding it in, sends it into the corner, it deflects there, and Chance able to backhand it the length of the ice. 5 minutes to go in the game, 3 minutes to go on a Blackhawk penalty. 30-23, Colorado is outshot. The Hawks so far in the game as Jones cuts in there, shoots, he scores! Keith Jones with a wrist shot from the near dot. And Colorado extends their lead to 7-0 with their 5th power play goal of the game.
38 in the series. Sakic carries the puck across the line to Jones, and Jones with the wrist shot past Terreri's blocker and inside the far post. Goal coming at 15-13. So Sakic will get another assist. That'll be his third point of the game. Forsberg has 3 assists in the game. Kaminsky with 3 goals in the game.
The Avalanche continue with a power play for another 2 minutes now. As it's dumped into the Hog zone, Terreri poked it to the near side. Held into Jones. Now Sakic along the near board with it. Side of the goal, Jones. Moved it back to Sakic at the dot. Moves in, shoots. And a save by Terreri, who holds on.
Sakic looking to dish, no one to give it to, so he decided to shoot. Jones's shot went between the right arm and jersey of Terreri and is on the blocker side. Well, New Jersey bounced back to tie up Montreal late in the game. It's 3-3 in overtime. Phoenix and Anaheim just underway.
Well, Colorado all through regular season play never lost more than 2 games in a row. And they still haven't. The Hawks knocked them off twice in Chicago, but the Avalanche with a decisive victory here tonight. Based largely on power play conversions. Here's the draw, cleared back into the Colorado zone. A minute to go on the Avalanche power play. Ozelin dumps it in. Over to the far side it goes. Corbet in the corner with it. Jammed it loose along the boards. Young. Scott Young tried to center one. Just hopped over the stick of Ozelin, who sends it behind the goal. Now picked up there by Ricci. Centered a shot. Terreri with a save. As Lacroix was right under it. Corbet was on the doorstep. Now Ricci with a shot. That missed the net. Rebound held in by Foot on the far side. This pass broken up, and Krivokrasov will clear it back into the Colorado zone. 3 minutes remaining in Game 5. Claude Lemieux cleared it over the line. Sakic couldn't pick it up. Carney does, but his pass is picked off. Now it's centered. Sakic into the deep slot. Turns, shoots. It didn't get through. And the Hawks clear it back to the Colorado line. As Probert returns to the play out of the penalty box. Here comes Sakic over the line. Shooting. And a save by Terreri. Rebound to the far side. And Lemieux moved it to Lefebvre. A long shot. Terreri fought it off in traffic and managed to grab it out of midair and get a whistle. With 2.5 long minutes remaining in this game, as far as the Hawks are concerned, the Avalanche wish it would never end. They have a 7-0 lead in the Hawks.
Doubt is whether Longois will get his 10th career shutout. He does have his 89th victory in hand.
Chris Terreri makes a save of a Mike Keane wrister off a face-off in the Hog zone, and they'll line up to his right once again. 3 goals for Valeri Kaminsky, Keith Jones, John Clem, Mike Keane, and Claude Lemieux. And the other strikes for Colorado. And it's supposed to get a big snowstorm in the mountains, and there's been an avalanche of goals here at McNichols Arena tonight. And it's happened in 2 of the 3 games here in this series. Here comes Dubinsky with a wrist shot off the side of the net. And then it's cleared to center, and Yell carries it over the Hawk line and just sends it in deep. Well, Dale, we touched on it earlier, and Colorado with all the power play goals that they lot of them came as a result of fine passing plays and some of the pretty things that they're capable of, but they really set the tone in this first period when they did it in a very blue-collar, simple way.
Now, they didn't get creative or fancy. They dumped it in, dumped it out, and then took advantage of the first power play, and then built up a 2-0 lead and scored another power play goal. The Hawks are never in this game.
The first goal came on a Colorado power play before the action was 3 minutes long, and they scored again before the first period was half over and went on to sail off with a 7-0 victory with 64 seconds left. But the Blackhawks have to think the way they did after game one, which is the score isn't 6 goals or 7 goals you have to make up. It's one game you lost, and now everybody starts from scratch on Saturday night. As the Hawks will desperately be trying to force a 7th and decisive game back here in Denver, but they have to win at home on Saturday to make that happen. Here's the draw. Krasov unable to hold in a bouncing puck as we go to the final minute of this one. Grivo forced to circle at center. The Avalanche, which has set a franchise record this year with 26 wins at home, only 10 losses and 5 ties, are going to go 3-0 at home ice to open up this series. And they're on their feet here in Denver with just half a minute remaining. And now an icing call made against Colorado with 19 seconds left.
Playoff victories. These guys have played in the NHL in goal haven't had 89 victories in their careers in regular season play. Incredible number of victories.
Face-off will be to the left of St. Patrick. Draw to the Avalanche, and Keane managed to trickle it to center ice. Hawks dump it in. Waugh dumps it out, and Patrick Waugh is the all-time winningest goaltender in playoff history.
This was a team shutout. He didn't have a lot of tough saves in this one. Made a couple of good breakaway saves when the game was over, but wasn't tested that often in the first. And the good news is it's only one loss, and the Hawks have a chance to win Game 6 at home Saturday night.
Colorado adds 2 power play goals to their total in the third period, making it a total of 5 for the night. Kaminsky completed a hat trick when his centering attempt hit Weinrich and went in. And a couple gift assists were added to Ozolinsh and Foote at 8:01. And then Jones from Sakic and Miller at 15-13 to finish off the scoring for the Avalanche. 8 shots for Chicago in the third, 14 for Colorado. 35-25, the Avalanche outshoot the Blackhawks in this one. Colorado now leads in the series 3-2. Tonight your final score, Avalanche 7, Blackhawks nothing.
From Colorado.
So the Blackhawks are about to come back to Chicago and get ready for Game 6 on Saturday night and try and even up the series again.
Boy, we called that one wrong. I really felt that the Hawks would come out tonight a lot better than they did. They looked slow. They looked behind the play for the whole game. And you're right. They've got to come back now and regroup and take this game at home.
So that will be coming up on Saturday night. And remember, you can see that game here on Sports Channel. Murray and I will have game time starting at 6:30 live from the United Center, then Pat and Dale with the call of Game 6 That will start at 7:30 on Saturday night. Let's start out by looking at our save of the game, our Southwest Airlines save of the game. And early on, Jeff Hackett looked pretty decent in even situations, but the fact of the matter was just too many power plays for the Avalanche tonight. The Avalanche cashed in with a bevy of power play goals, and that was the difference in the game tonight. And our Bud Ice player of the game, we'll go with Bob Probert. We're getting ready for the Sports Channel report coming around the corner. Stick around for that. Oh, one more item of business. Our partner player contest tonight. Unfortunately, no winners because there were no goals. But we want to thank Stan Brown and Michelle Busher for playing in the game tonight. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. Our final score from Denver tonight, 7-0 in favor of the Colorado Avalanche. They now lead the series 3-2. Stick around. The Sports Channel report is coming up next. It does not affect how the next one is played. And that's good news for the Blackhawks because they were smoked tonight in Game 5 in Denver against the Colorado Avalanche. And the Avalanche did the damage on the power play with the extra man. Gary Suter sends down Joe Sakic on a bit of a dive, but it put Colorado on the power play. Then Valeri Kaminsky down low. Peter Forsberg to Claude Lemieux. Power play goal number 1. Lemieux gets it. Avalanche lead at 1-0. Then Stefan Yell. This is an even strength goal coming here. Takes the pass, moves it over to Mike Keane. Third time in 3 games in Denver that Mike Keane has scored. 2-0. Colorado had the lead. Then Eric Weinrich in the corner, battling for the puck with Forsberg. Over to Joe Sakic. What a great pass. Right on the tape for Kaminsky. Power play goal number 2. 3-0 Avalanche. Second period. Blackhawks on the power play. Gary Suter shoots. Patrick Waugh makes the save. Made 2 quick saves after that, keeping the Blackhawks off of the board. Another Colorado power play in the second period. Joe Sakic brings it ahead to Kaminsky. Eric Weinrich got crossed up. Kaminsky goes in and scores. 4-0 Avalanche. Power play goal number 3. Third period. After the Avalanche had made it 5-0. Tony Amani in on the breakaway. Patrick Waugh makes the stop. Still scoreless for the Blackhawks. Then in the third period, Avalanche 5-on-3. Valeri Kaminsky looking for Claude Lemieux, but Eric Weinrich sees it go in off his stick and into the net for the 4th power play goal of the game. The 3rd by Kaminsky. 6-0 Avalanche. I want to be Bob Dylan. Mr. Jones, who wants to be a little more funky, added a goal too in the end. Colorado wins at 7-0 over the Blackhawks. Patrick Waugh gets his 89th career playoff win. He is now the all-time leader in NHL history in that category. He also earns his 10th playoff shutout. In case you're wondering, 5 power play goals by the Avalanche, that is not the record for power play goals in a playoff game. The record is 6, held by the Boston Bruins against the Maple Leafs April 2nd, 1969. But Valeri Kaminsky does write his name in the NHL record book by coming up with 3 power play goals in a game. Ties a record held by a bunch of people, including Dino Ciccarelli, who did it twice in his career, Yari Curry, Tim Kerr, Dennis Potvin, Johnny Busick, and Phil Esposito. So Valeri Kaminsky in pretty good company tonight. Murray, the thing that struck me about this game is in Game 1, we saw the Avalanche win 6-0. Every time they scored, there was a big celebration. They were jumping up and down. They were jacked because it seemed everybody felt there was momentum to be gained in this series. We found out that wasn't the case. And tonight, we saw the Colorado Avalanche acting like, well, yeah, we won this game, but you know, now we got to get on the plane and go back to Chicago.
Tonight they looked much more businesslike. I think they realized that they do have to go back to Chicago, which hasn't been good to them in the playoffs. It's going to be a tough struggle for them there. So they're trying to focus more on winning the game and then getting ready for the next game.
Claude Lemieux had a goal and an assist in the game tonight. He's chatting with the media in Denver. Let's go there live.
From our mistakes, and we again take this as an experience and look forward for the next game and not have to look back to that Game 4.
What about the reuniting?
Well, you know, whether it's with Joey or Peter, I think have a job to do. Obviously, it clicked for our line on the power play. We had a lot of great chances, and you know, I just thought every line played very well, and everybody contributed, and it was a good, real good effort.
What was the difference on the power play?
Me to do that? I just think the big difference tonight was our power play, and you know, everybody came out ready to play, and our power play really did the job. We moved the puck around real well and went to the net and took a lot of shots.
Joe, were you guys trying to send a message to the Blackhawks that you guys are the Stanley Cup champions?
We came out here to win the hockey game. We weren't here to send any messages around the league. our backs were against the wall. We needed this win, and everybody realized that, and we came out hungry, and everybody was on the same page tonight. We played well on our end, didn't give up too many opportunities for them, and like I said, our power play got a couple goals there, and really helped.
How aware were you guys of Patrick what is this for most playoff? Obviously not.
I have no clue. I didn't know, but it's just another one of those in his book, and we've said many times it's great to have the chance to play with a goaltender of that quality. He's obviously the best at it, and I think every guy feels real good about, every player feels real good about playing a hard game for Patrick tonight after letting him down in game 3 and 4. We showed 60 minutes of hockey and gave him a shutout, and it's just a good feeling.
How about the idea that you were there for the first one?
Shutout?
No, his first
win. Yeah, that was a long time ago. It's almost like looking back to high school's days, but yeah, I've seen him play so many great games that would be a task. It would be hard for me to say which one was his best one, because I've seen him do so many great things, but he keeps on doing it, and he loves the pressure, and he was in the game tonight more than anybody on the bench, and he just did a great job.
Joe, can you talk about Valerie's game tonight and why you think he was able to break out of his
Oh, Val's he's a tremendous player, and when he's skating, he's really on. He's probably the smoothest and strongest skater in this league, and especially his second goal, you really saw what he can do when he gets his speed going.
Is that right? Thank you, guys.
Sure. The captain and the assistant captain of the Colorado Avalanche, Joe Sakic and Claude Lemieux, talking with the media. And a lot of those questions, Murray, pertain to Claude Lemieux and Patrick Roy, who have been together a long while. They were separated for a while, but they started back in the mid-'80s with the Montreal Canadiens, won a cup in '86. Chris Chelios was on that team as well. And I find it fascinating how players like Chelios, Lemieux, and Roy are able to elevate their game in these big games. Why are players able to do that, and why are only certain ones able to accomplish that?
Well, most of that is mental, Jim. Although in Lemieux's case, I think sometimes he just floats through the regular season. He looks real good to playoffs. But all kidding aside, those guys have another gear, if you will, and they just get so much more focused and so much more in tune with what they have to do. And in a playoff situation where it's a shorter length of time, you can be more focused and more ready to play every night. So their mental ability, they just kind of take it to another level, and their concentration and their focus becomes a little better.
A guy who had pretty good focus tonight in the game for the Avalanche, Peter Forsberg, he's talking with the media now in Denver.
I think we came out much stronger than we did in Chicago, and we played a really good defensive game tonight, and I think Patty was he was really on today, and I think that was a big key.
Was yesterday a really awful day too, when I said it was 2-3.
For myself, it's been a really tough time. I didn't play well up there in Chicago. I played probably my worst games in the playoffs so far, and I had to regroup and watch some tapes and see what I did wrong. And I think I corrected a few things. There's still a few things I got to work on, but it definitely was better this time.
How do you get yourself ready for a game like this under so much pressure, knowing that you have to perform not just yourself, but get the team ripped up? How do you get yourself ready for that?
It's not hard to get ready in the playoffs. I mean, it's the fifth game. It's a really important game, and you got to make sure you're not too nervous, though. I mean, it was a huge game, and you know you're going to be ready, but you can't be too nervous. He's a really good player. He's one of the guys who he looks up. When I go up, he takes the third man high, and that helps a lot. I enjoy playing with him.
Peter, you guys determined not to let up and just show it.
Yeah, I think the way we played in Chicago, nobody was happy, and we had to come out and have a strong performance. And I think everybody realized that Chicago is a really good team, and we got to work much harder if we're going to beat those guys.
Well,
first of all, of course, it's a great honor. I mean, it's nice to pass a guy like Billy Smith, who had a fantastic playoff career and also a great season career. But I mean, to me, it was more important to focus on the game and focus on that record. I mean, hopefully that I'm gonna pass it by to in Chicago on the next game.
What was the mood like in the dressing room before the game?
Well, I think for the first time, for a long time, I should say, we had a bit of pressure out there, and seems like every time we had a bit of pressure, we respond very well, and I think tonight we did very well. I mean, we took an early lead, and you know, we got a lot of leadership on this team, and the leaders on our club scored the first 2 goals, Claude and Keener, and they are big part of this club and an important player on our team, and I think we play extremely well defensively. I mean, it made it a lot easier for me because I made a few mistakes, and the guys find a way to recover my mistake. Then defensively, I think we were fantastic.
When Tony Amani had the breakaway on you, do you think about what's happening when he's coming in, or do you just kind of react to whatever he's doing?
Well, I had a few breakaway by Tony Amonte so far in that series, and then I was expecting him to do about the same thing he did the last 2 of the last 3 times, stop and try to go on his forehand, and he kind of tried to surprise me by taking a shot. Actually, he surprised me, but you know, I was in the well position, and he shot right on my stick.
If you guys the all-time record for regular season wins and the regular and playoff wins, which would be more meaningful to you?
Excuse me?
Which would be the more meaningful record to you if you got both records, regular season and playoff?
I don't know. I think playoffs are where you want to perform, and I think every player in the NHL play playoffs for pride, and everybody wants to perform, and I think it's fun to having great playoffs as well.
What's the difference in the attitude going to Chicago this trip as compared to something you're trying to get?
Well, the last trip we went there, believed that we were going to win at least one of the 2 and maybe both of them. But this time we know that we know what they can do over there, and we got to make sure there'll be no bad surprise for us, and play hard like we did tonight. Like Peter said, I think he's perfectly right. I mean, it's not a bad hockey team. If we don't work hard, they're gonna beat us. We gotta outwork this team, and this is where the difference is in both teams. I think we got more talent than them, but if they outwork us, they're gonna beat us anyhow.
Okay, thank you,
Thanks.
If there's one thing everybody should have learned by now from this series, it's that there's no such thing as momentum. Every game is its own entity, separate and unto itself. But yet we still hear questions, Murray, about now does this carry you into the next game? So take about 30 seconds and please, for the last time, explain to everybody that momentum doesn't go most of the time in the NHL playoffs, and especially not in this series.
No, and momentum builds within a game. You hear teams building momentum within a game, and a good example was the other night when Probert scored. The building got excited, all the fans were excited, the Hawks bench got excited, and they started to build on that, and you could just see them getting better and better and better. That's momentum. The game's over with, that stops. You start a new game, you got to start all over, and you got to build momentum within that game. One thing that should carry over from game to game is your confidence. It didn't happen, but momentum stops once the game stops.
So that's why coming into Chicago, it's not 7-0 Avalanche after this game. It's 3-2 Avalanche, and the Avalanche, I think by their reaction, you could tell, they know that just because they won this game 7-0, it means nothing. Now, they still have to win one more game out of the series. Murray and I will have more on the other action tonight around the Stanley Cup playoffs coming up in just a little bit. We spent a lot of time talking about the defending NHL champions. Now Amy's got the word. Game is at the United Center, and you can see it here on Sports Channel. Game 6 against the Avalanche as the Blackhawks will once again try and hold serve at home. Murray Bannerman and I will have the pregame at 6:30. We'll drop the puck around 7:30 or so. Blackhawks lost tonight in Game 5, 7-0 the final score. And if you want to pin it down to one thing, Murray, you have to look to the fact that, and we talked about it in the pregame, the Blackhawks couldn't afford to put Colorado on the power play. They did exactly that. Colorado scores 5 power play goals.
They put them on the power play early, and they put them on the power play often.
Kind of like voting in Chicago.
There you go. But they did not do a particularly good job of killing off those when they were killing penalties and Colorado had power plays. Their penalty killers looked a little out of sorts. We're going to see a play here where Colorado's a team that's got skilled players that move the puck well. So you got to play less aggressive. Here you see the puck moved low. Now Chelios is late getting to that guy, so now he's facing the play. Lemieux's open in front. Chelios need to move. If he's going to go to that guy, it's got to be quicker, and then the forward's got to come down. On this play, if you watch the defenseman in front of the net, look where he's looking. He's watching the puck. There's 3 Hawk players in a small area. Suter's watching the puck. I don't even think he knew that Kaminsky was there. You got to know where those guys are. And although this might not have been a big part of the game, the Hawks gave up a lot of odd man breaks. And it just shows that they were a little flat-footed. They weren't back-checking, weren't doing the things that they had done in the other 2 games. And off of some of the breaks, Hackett had to make good saves. Here's a nice play, good save by Hackett. Turnover here, not a turnover. They should have scored, didn't score. At 2-on-1, and you can't afford to give Colorado odd man breaks because, again, they're a skilled team and they move the puck very well and they take advantage of those. The power play, they have to be a little bit less aggressive. They have to be somewhat more passive, stay more in that box, and take away passing lanes. Let those guys stand to the outside and move the puck around the outside, but take away the lanes, the passing lanes across the front of the net, across the ice, and they didn't do that tonight.
What the Blackhawks are trying to do in this series, they're trying to catch lightning in the bottle the way they did after the 1988-89 season. That year, where you may remember, Troy Murray got the goal on the final night of the regular season in overtime to put the Blackhawks into the playoffs. And then that year, they got through the playoffs. They got all the way to the conference finals. Even though they were the 8th best team in the conference, they lost to the eventual Stanley Cup champions, the Calgary Flames. This year, the Blackhawks go into the playoffs ranked 8th, and they are certainly giving the Colorado Avalanche everything they can handle. And nobody is more aware of that on the Colorado Avalanche side than their head coach, Mark Crawford.
We worked harder tonight, and we worked smarter. Thought that we played very well defensively. Thought that we were real good in our units there. The whole group was focusing in on their jobs defensively, and because of that, we ended up getting out of our end cleanly most of the time, and we got a chance to be on offense. When we were on offense, we did a good job of getting the puck and taking it to the net where they had to take a lot of penalties. And our power play was very, very potent tonight, and that was the difference in the game.
But Kaminsky, that angle, he shot that one at. That's the most impossible angle I think I've ever seen, and he put it in.
He's a gifted player, and gifted players can do things that make you sit back and say, every now and then. And he was very good tonight, Val. I thought Val did a great job of taking the puck to the net. I know the one goal, their defenseman fell, but he did a great job of taking advantage of it and then snapping off a great shot.
Big challenge coming up for the next game.
Yeah, it is a big challenge. We know what to expect from Chicago in their building. They're going to play very hard. They're going to try and match against the Forsberg's line. So we're going to have to be very diligent in our preparation, very diligent in our approach to the game. I think that our guys responded well tonight. This game's over. We got to tomorrow start into our preparation for the next game and focus in on that and come out with a real prepared and hungry group in Chicago.
Mark, was it satisfying to see a killer instinct these guys didn't let up the whole game?
I don't think we were looking one way or another. I thought that it's very nice that our guys played a full 60 minutes. That's what we were after, and again, that's what we'll be after in the next game.
The home team has won every game in this series so far. Murray, is it any kind of a coincidence that the home team has won, the home team has the last line change? Are the results of these games a tribute to the head coaches that they're getting the right guys on the ice against the opposition?
I think that's a big part of it, aside from the power plays. When Colorado's power play is sharp and the Blackhawk penalty killing is not, then they're going to get their goals. But I mentioned it earlier. Hartsburg wants certain matchups against Forsberg, and obviously Crawford wants to get him away from those matchups. At home, Crawford can do that. In Chicago, he can't. So it makes a big difference. I don't think people realize that having that last line change in the playoffs where you can get the matchups you want makes a big difference.
So in other words, Saturday night, Mr. Forsberg, meet Mr. Chelios, because he'll be all over you all night long. Let's get to what's going on in the rest of the NHL. The New Jersey Devils are trying to finish off the Montreal Canadiens, but it's taking a while to do so. The game is in overtime. Let's show you how the game got to that point. Jersey jumped out to a 2-0 lead. Montreal came roaring back to take the lead. Mark Recchi, his second goal of the game. That put Montreal up by a score of 3-2. But with just under 2 minutes remaining, Lyle Odeline comes back to haunt his former team, beating Jose Teodor. We go to overtime, tied at 3. They are now in the second overtime, and that game is still tied up at 3 apiece. Now let's jump out to Phoenix and Anaheim. First period, no score. Keith Tkachuk is going to beat Guy-Hebert on the breakaway. Fourth goal of the playoffs for Keith Tkachuk, 1-0. Phoenix had the lead. At the 17:34 mark of the opening period, though, the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim would come back and tie it up. Dan Treble gets the puck from Paul Kariya, finds Teemu Selanne out in front for the goal. That tied it up at 1-1. They're in the second period of play. Jeremy Roenick has just scored for Phoenix. The Coyotes lead that game 2-1. The winner of that game will enjoy a 3-2 series lead in a series that has really been pretty interesting from the standpoint of all the yapping going on in the press between the two teams.
A lot of yapping, and the coaches often do that if they feel they're getting a bad shake from the referees. You know, they're going to say, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And really all they're trying to do is draw attention to something that they feel isn't right and to hopefully get it changed. The other thing interesting about that series is 6 goals have been called back because of men in the crease with the new rules. So that's an awful lot for a playoff series.
And Anaheim getting nearly all of their production out of Selanne and Kariya. And if they're going to win the series, they're going to need some other people to start contributing. We will see you on Saturday night. Murray and I will bring you Blackhawks game time on Saturday night from the United Center prior to Game 6 between the Blackhawks and the Avalanche. Still to come.
South Florida is not only blessed with a lot of sun, but over the last 2 years, a very good hockey team. The Panthers went to the finals last year, led by John Van Beesbroek. This year, they're meeting the Rangers and Wayne Gretzky. In 1993, in the playoffs playing for the Kings, he picked up a hat trick in Game 7 that sent his team to the Stanley Cup Finals. In the last game against the Panthers, he had another hat trick, the first one since '93. A natural hat trick in the second period. Tonight, the Rangers and Gretzky could eliminate the Panthers. The true fans never give up, and there are plenty of those here for the Panthers tonight. This is the home of the Florida Panthers, and if more hockey is to be played here, they've got to win. Tonight, the New York Rangers come in with the opportunity to wrap this series up, the Rangers leading it 3-1. Since 1984, no team that has gone to the Stanley Cup Finals in one season and lost has come back the next year and made it back to the finals. If Florida loses tonight, they're going to join that